Hi, Jeannie. This is something different. This was unsealed by a Washington court, the search warrant on his apartment. So that's what this is about. So this is something new. It's not propaganda as you're seeing on a lot of other places. Hi, Kevin Leonard. Hi, Whisper to Me. Hi, Heart Made Wise. Hi, Shari. 1514321. You're not late. You're right on time. I'm late. Are you saying I'm always late? Is she saying I'm always late? Maybe she's saying I'm always late. Oh boy. Sorry, Sherry. I'm not always late. I've been much better. Cheryl, Joe, I had to take my son to basketball. Let's see. Cranky, Lisa L, Sean Sneed. I'm not even in live chat. That's not good. Do live chat here. Linda, Kevin Leonard, Chris Reed, Farm Wife, What's in a Name, Elise K, good to see you. Margot Ellingsworth, hey, good to see you. Long time no see. Elizabeth W, hi everybody. Okay, so we're going to go over this. Now, in the beginning of this search warrant, it reads very much like the affidavit because same kind of thing, it's giving the background on the case. Hi Liza Ward, Liz Tops, but we'll go through it. So, comes now the state of Washington by and through Dennis Tracy, Whitman County prosecuting attorney, and moves the court for an order to unseal the return of service of search warrant numbered SW number 12, blah, blah, blah. We'll just say blah, blah, blah for the number. These warrants were issued and served in Washington state because a suspect in the crimes resided and worked here during the time of the murders. These warrants and associated applications were sealed due to the sensitive nature of the investigation at that time. Since then, an extensive probable cause affidavit has been unsealed in Lauder County, Idaho, which has alleviated the need for sealing of the return of service here in Washington. Okay, and this is in the matter of application for the search warrant. Comes now the state of Washington by and through Dennis Tracy, Whitman County prosecuting attorney, and moves the court for an order to keep sealed the search warrant and search warrant applications, but to allow the state to file redacted versions which replace the victims' witnesses' names with initials pursuant to GR 15 basis. The Washington State Constitution recognizes that victims of crimes have rights and states that effective law enforcement depends on cooperation from victims of crime. Washington Constitution, blah, 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 we'll do that for that, has recognized that there is a severe and detrimental impact on crime victims, survivors of victims, and witnesses of crime, and yet there is the civic and moral duty of victims, survivors of victims, and witnesses of crimes to fully and voluntarily cooperate with law enforcement and prosecutorial agencies. In a criminal proceeding, the law requires that a reasonable effort is made to ensure that victims, survivors of victims, and witnesses of crimes have the right to receive protection from harm and threats of harm arising out of cooperation with law enforcement and prosecution efforts. Washington courts have long acknowledged that a victim's initials can be substituted for their name. The basis for this motion is that there are two surviving victims' witnesses of a now notorious and much publicized murder burglary in Moscow, Idaho, whose full names are listed in this search warrant and search warrant application. The warrants were issued and served in Washington state because a suspect in the crimes resided and worked here during the time of the murders. These warrants and associated applications were sealed due to the sensitive nature of the investigation at that time. Since then, an extensive probable cause affidavit has been unsealed in Lauder County, Idaho, which has alleviated much of the need for sealing here in Washington. But the documents filed in Lauder County have not disclosed the surviving victims' names, only their initials. These victims should have the level of protection that can be provided by having their initials substituted for their full names in the search warrant and search warrant applications, which become publicly available from this court. The state is asking the court to consider the usual factors. 1, showing of the need for sealing the records, and where the need is based on a right other than the accused right to a fair trial, a serious and imminent threat to that right. Anyone present when motion is made must be given an opportunity to object to the closure. The proposed method for curtailing open access must be the least restrictive means available for protecting the threatened interest. The court must weigh the competing interest of the proponent of closure and the public, and the order must be no broader in its application or duration than necessary to serve its purpose. The state contends that the need to protect victim identification is important to their safety, health, and well-being, and the victims' and witnesses' rights should be protected vigorously, just as the legislature and the state founders intended. The proposed method is to file a complete search warrant and application for warrant with only the surviving victims' names redacted and replaced with initials. This is very minor closure of a court document in order to protect a very important victim interest. Finally, the order will be no broader in application than necessary to serve its purpose, and the public will still have the pertinent information at its disposal in order to understand the proceedings of the court. So all of that to say that they want victims and victim witnesses and all of those to be able to cooperate with law enforcement without worrying that their safety is going to be compromised. So they're going to use the initials of the survivors that were in that house. But you know what? Everybody knows their names, right? So it's really a moot point at this point. But that's a long roundabout way of saying they're just going to put their initials in here. Okay. So now we have, upon the sworn compliance made before me, there is probable cause to believe that the crime of murder in the first degree and burglary per Idaho code has been committed in Idaho, and that evidence and that those crimes or contraband, the fruits of crime, or things otherwise criminally possessed, or weapons or other things by means of which a crime has been committed or reasonably appears about to be committed, is concealed in or on certain premises. In making this determination, the court did not consider the information in the supplemental disclosure regarding the DNA test as evidence supporting the existence of probable cause. This court also does not consider the information in that supplemental disclosure to be exculpatory. You are commanded to 1. Search within 10 days of this date the premises described as follows: apartment located at 1630 Northeast Valley Road, number G201, Pullman, Washington. That's Bryan Kohberger's apartment. 1630 Northeast Valley Road is a 3-story, multiple occupancy apartment building in Pullman, Washington, which is tan and white in color. Apartment G201 is located on the northeast corner of the second story of this building. The door to G201 is located on the east side of the second story landing and is designated by the numbers 201 on the door. The door is white with a swinging screen door on the outside of the main door to the residence. 2. Seize, if located, evidence of the above listed crimes, including 1. Blood or other bodily fluid or human tissue or skin cells or items with blood or other bodily fluid or human tissue or skin cells on the items. 2. Knives, sheaths, or other sharp tools, including any dagger, dirk, or sword, and any written indicia of ownership of same, including sales receipts. 3. Any images, whether digital or on paper, or any other format, which show Ethan Chapin, Kaylee Gonsalves, Xana Kernodle, and Madison Mogan. And then they put the other roommates, so that's Bethany and Dylan. And or the house at 1122 King Road, Moscow, Idaho, or the surrounding neighborhood. Clothing including but not limited to dark shirt, dark pants, mask, shoes with diamond patterned sole. 5. Trace evidence including DNA. from blood or skin cells or other source, footprints, fingerprints, hair, whether human or animal/dog. 6. Data compilations, whether digital, electronic, or on paper or other format, showing an interest in or planning of murder, violent assault, stabbing, and or cutting of people, and data compilation showing details of the 1122 King Road house, its location, any information about Ethan Chapin, Kaylee Gonsalves, Zena Kernoodle, Madison Mogen, BF, and or DM, and data compilation showing the location of Bryan Kohberger or the cell phone with the number 509-592-8458 on November 13th, 2022, including Wi-Fi logs and data or metadata associated with photos, social media posts, or applications on cell phones or computer towers, laptops, tablets. As example, but not intended to be exclusive list of data compilations being sought, ledgers, papers, lists, books, notes, letters, calendars, address books, contact lists, diaries, tapes, photographs, videos, emails, text messages, social media posts, messages, and metadata associated therewith. 7. Electronic digital devices or digital storage devices which may contain any of the above. Hang on a second, hold on. Okay, electronic digital devices or digital storage devices which may contain any of the above data compilations, including cell phones, computer towers, laptops, tablets, external hard drives, CD, DVD, thumb drive, or other data storage devices. This includes any device which may contain evidence of other accounts associated with this device, including email addresses, social media accounts, messaging apps accounts, and other accounts that may be accessed through the digital device that will aid in determining the possessor/user of the device. Photographs, images, videos, documents, and related data created, accessed, read, modified, received, stored, sent, moved, deleted, or otherwise manipulated between the above dates. Evidence of use of this device to conduct internet searches relating to a review of other murders or violent assaults, stabbing, and or cutting of people, as well as how to avoid detection after the commission of such crimes, details of the 1122 King Road house, its location, neighborhood, and or information about one or more of the victims, Ethan Chapin, Kaylee Gonsalves, Zena Kernoodle, and Madison Mogen, BF and or DM. Information that can be used to calculate the position of the device between the above dates, including location data, GPS, satellite data, GPS coordinates for routes and destination queries between the above listed dates, app data or usage information, and related location information, IP logs, or similar internet connection information, and images created, accessed, or modified between the above listed dates, together with their metadata and EXIF tags. Evidence of the identity of the person in possession of the device and or about any times that items of evidentiary value located pursuant to this warrant were created, modified, accessed, or otherwise manipulated. Such evidence may be found in digital communications, photos and video and associated metadata, IP logs, documents, social media activity, and similar data. Also, passwords, phrases, codes, patterns, fingerprints, and or usernames to operate any such device. Indicia of residence in or ownership or possession of the premises and any of the above items, including mail, receipts, identification bills, rental agreements, licensing documents, and any personal property whose owner or possessor may be readily determined. Assistance from any law enforcement agencies from the state of Idaho or the federal government, or any technical specialist associated with or employed by or contracted with such law enforcement agencies, including but not limited to the Moscow Police Department, the Idaho State Police, FBI, Idaho State Police Forensic Services, is authorized. Assistance from a technical specialist is also authorized to review any digital services and digital media for the best and least intrusive method of securing digital evidence that the warrant authorizes for seizure, and to assist in securing such evidence. Promptly return this warrant to me or the clerk of this court. The return must include an inventory of all property seized. A copy of the warrant and a receipt for the property taken shall be given to the person from whom or from whose premises property is taken. If no person is found in possession, a copy and a receipt shall be conspicuously posted at the place where this property is found. Date 12/29/2022, 9:25 p.m. Okay. And that was hours before he was arrested, all right? Now we have I, Dawn Daniels, Assistant Chief, WSU Police Department, declare that I have personal knowledge of the matters herein and or am relying on witness statements, information provided by my fellow officers, including fellow officers from the state of Idaho, reports and other material I have gathered in my investigation, and that I am competent to testify to the matters stated herein. On the basis of the following, I believe that there is probable cause that Bryan Kohberger has committed the crimes of murder first degree, Idaho Code, blah, 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 burglary in Moscow, Idaho, and that checked evidence of those crimes, and this is checked here, weapons or other things by means of which a crime has been committed or reasonably appears about to be committed, is located in or at or about the following described premises, vehicle, or person. The apartment located at 1630 Northeast Valley Road, number G201, Pullman, Washington. 1630 Northeast Valley Road is a 3-story, multiple occupancy apartment building in Pullman, Washington, which is tan and white in color, and apartment G201 is located on the northeast corner of the second story of this building. The door to G21 is located on the east side of the second story landing and is designated by the numbers 201 on the door. The door is white with a swinging screen door on the outside of the main door to the residence. Affiant, I am a police officer at Washington State University Police Department, and I have been so employed since July 20th, 1998. I attended and successfully completed the 440-hour Washington State Criminal Justice Training Commission's Basic Law Enforcement Academy, and while at the academy, I completed courses in criminal law, criminal procedures, and other investigative courses. Since the academy, I've continued my education in various law enforcement-related fields, including officer-involved shooting, evidence collection, and threat assessment. I have investigated and assisted in the service of over 50 search warrants. Persons providing information. 1. Moscow, Idaho Police Officer Sergeant Dustin Blaker. Sergeant Blaker's sworn statement is attached hereto as Exhibit A and is hereby incorporated in this application for search warrant. Sergeant Blaker identifies his experience and training in his statement. 2. Other officers and witnesses are identified in Sergeant Blaker's sworn statement. The investigation. I was contacted by Moscow police officers and asked to assist their investigation into the recent murder of 4 people in Moscow, Idaho. Sergeant Blaker of the Moscow Police Department has developed probable cause to believe that a resident of Whitman County, Bryan Kohberger, committed the murders and burglary. I agree with Sergeant Blaker's statement that there is probable cause to believe that Kohberger committed the murders and burglary, and that there is probable cause to believe that evidence of those crimes will be located in Kohberger's apartment at 1630 Northeast Valley Road, G21 in Pullman. I am seeking this search warrant to search that apartment. The probable cause is described in detail in the attached Exhibit A, sworn statement of Sergeant Blaker, which is hereby incorporated herein by this reference, just as it fully set forth here. Based on all the foregoing information, I believe that evidence of the above listed crimes exists at the above described location and that there is probable cause to search that location for evidence of the above listed crimes, including 1. Blood or other bodily fluid or human tissue or skin cells, or items with blood or other bodily fluid or human tissues or skin cells on the items. 2. Knives, sheaths, or other sharp tools, including any dagger, dirk, or sword, and any written indicia of ownership of same, including sales receipts. Any images, whether digital or on paper or any other format, which show Ethan Chapin, Kaylee Gonsalves, Xana Kernodle, Madison Mogan, BF and or DM, and or the house at 1122 King Road, Moscow, Idaho, and or the surrounding neighborhood. 4. Clothing including but not limited to a dark shirt, dark pants, masks, shoes with diamond patterned sole. 5. Trace evidence including DNA from blood or skin cells or other source, footprints, fingerprints, hair, whether human or animal/dog. 6. Data compilations, whether digital, electronic, or on paper or any other format, showing an interest in or planning of murder, violent assault, stabbing, and or cutting of people, and data compilation showing details of the 1122 King Road house, its location, and or any information about Ethan Chapin, Kaylee Gonsalves, Xana Kernodle, Madison Mogan, BF and or DM, and data compilation showing the location of Bryan Kohberger on the cell phone with number 509-592-8458 on November 13th, 2022, including Wi-Fi logs and data or metadata associated with photos, social media posts, or applications on cell phones or computer towers, laptops, tablets, as example, but not intended to be exclusive list of data compilations being sought: ledgers, papers, lists, books, notes, letters, calendars, address books, contact lists, diaries, tapes, photographs, videos, emails, text messages, social media posts, messages, and metadata associated therewith. 7. Electronic digital devices or digital storage devices which may contain any of the above data compilations, including cell phones, computer towers, laptops, tablets, external hard drives, CDs, DVD, thumb drive, or other data storage devices. This includes any device which may contain evidence of other accounts associated with this device, including email addresses, social media accounts, messaging app accounts, and other accounts that may be accessed through the digital device that will aid in determining the possessor or the user of the device. Photographs, images, videos, documents, and related data created, accessed, read, modified, received, stored, sent, moved, deleted, or otherwise manipulated between the above dates. Evidence of use of the device to conduct internet searches relating to a review of either murders or violent assault, stabbing and or cutting of people, as well as how to avoid detection after the commission of such crimes. Details of the 1122 King Road house, its location, neighborhood, and or information about one or more of the victims: Ethan Chapin, Kaylee Gonsalves, Xana Kernodle, Madison Mogan, BF and or DM. Information that can be used to calculate the position of the device between the above dates, including location data, GPS, satellite data, GPS coordinates for routes and destination queries between the above listed dates, app data or usage information and related location information, IP logs or similar internet connection information, and images created, accessed, or modified between the above listed dates together and their metadata and EXIF tags. Evidence of the identity of the person in possession of the device on or about any times the items of evidentiary value located pursuant to this warrant were created or modified accessed or otherwise manipulated. Such evidence may be found in digital communications, photos and video, and associated metadata, IP logs, documents, social media activity, and similar data. Also passwords, phrases, codes, patterns, fingerprints, and/or usernames to operate any such device. And DC have residence in or ownership or possession of the premises and any of the above items, including mail, receipts, identification, bills, rental agreements, licensing documents, and other personal property whose owner or possessor may be readily determined. In addition, I am asking the court to authorize, in the service of the search warrant, the use of assistance from any law enforcement agencies from in the state of Idaho or the federal government, or any technical specialist associated with or employed by or contracted with such law enforcement agencies, including but not limited to the Moscow Police Department, the Idaho State Police, the FBI, Idaho State Police Forensic Services. I am asking for authorization of assistance from a technical specialist to review any digital devices and digital media for the best and least intrusive method of securing digital evidence that the warrant authorizes for seizure, and to assist in securing such evidence. Supplemental disclosure DNA test. I have been informed by Detective J.R. Talbot of the Idaho State Police that 1. On November 13th, 2022, a sheath was recovered at the King Road residence under or next to the body of Madison Mogan. The Idaho State Crime Lab obtained a male DNA profile, the suspect profile, from the sheath. This is also referred to in Sergeant Blaker's sworn statement, Exhibit A. 2. On December 27th, 2022, law enforcement agents, officers in Pennsylvania recovered trash that originated from the Kohberger family residence. The trash was sent to the Idaho State Crime Lab for testing. On December 28, 2022, the Idaho State Lab reported that a DNA profile was obtained from the trash, and it was compared to the suspect DNA profile. The lab personnel concluded that the source of the trash DNA profile, was a male and was not being excluded as the biological father of the source of the suspect profile. At least 99.9998% of the male population would be expected to be excluded from the possibility of being the biological father of the source of the suspect profile. This information is being provided to the court pursuant to my duty and obligation to be fully candid with the court. I do not believe this information is exculpatory for the suspect. However, if the court believes it is exculpatory, then the court should consider the supplemental disclosure in its evaluation of the existence of probable cause or lack thereof. But I am specifically asking the court to not consider this supplemental disclosure as evidence supporting the existence of probable cause. The reason for this request is that if the DNA tests are held inadmissible at some point, such a ruling would not impact the finding of probable cause for this warrant. So as long as the court is satisfied as to probable cause, regardless of the DNA test result. So what they're saying there is that, hold on, I got to get a drink here. Okay. What they're saying there is that if this DNA test from this sheath ends up that it's inadmissible to court, they want to make sure the search warrant is not basing their decision on it, whether to grant it or not. So forget that when deciding if you'll issue the search warrant, and base your issuance of the search warrant only on the other points that were provided, not the DNA. Okay, so they're covering their bases. So if the DNA is thrown out, they can't say, oh, wow, you obtained a search warrant that was based on that DNA, so that's, a problem. So they're covering the bases there. That's what that's about. I certify under penalty of perjury under the laws of the state of Washington that the foregoing is true and correct. Signed this 29th day of December 2022 in Pullman, Washington. Okay, and let's go here. So Exhibit A, this is the statement of Dustin Blaker. The below information is provided by Sergeant Dustin Blaker. I am a duly appointed, qualified, and acting peace officer with the County of Lada, State of Idaho. I am employed by the Moscow Police Department, MPD, in the official capacity or position of sergeant, and I have been a trained and qualified peace officer for approximately 22 years. I attended the Idaho Peace Officers Academy from January of 2000 to March of 2000, and then completed a 16-week field training program where I was released in July of 2000. During my 16 years of law enforcement, I have attended additional training to include basic narcotics training, which trained me in handling high-level cases. I have conducted many search warrants, and I have assisted with previous homicide investigations while at the Moscow Police Department. I am being assisted by other officers of the Moscow Police Department, members of the Idaho State Police, and agents of the Federal Bureau of Investigation. On November 13, 2022, at approximately 4 p.m., Moscow Police Department Corporal Brett Payne and I responded to 1122 King Road, Moscow, Idaho, hereafter the King Road residence, to assist with scene security and processing of a crime scene associated with 4 homicides. Upon our arrival, the Idaho State Police forensic team was on scene and was preparing to begin processing the scene. MPD Officer Smith, one of the initial responding officers to the incident, advised he would walk me through the scene. Officer Smith and I entered the King Road residence from the bottom floor on the north side of the building. Officer Smith and I then walked upstairs to the second floor. Officer Smith directed me down the hallway to the west bedroom of the second floor, which I later learned through Xana's driver's license and other personal belongings found in the room was Xana Kernodle's, hereafter Kernodle room. Just before the room, there was a bathroom door on the south wall of the hallway. As I approached the room, I could see a body later identified as Kernodle's laying on the floor. Kernodle was deceased with wounds which appeared to have been caused by an edged weapon. Also in the room was a male, later identified as Ethan Chapin, hereafter Chapin. Chapin was also deceased with wounds later determined, autopsy report provided by Spokane County Medical Examiner Vienna Singh, dated December 15, 2022, to be caused by sharp force injuries. I then followed Officer Smith upstairs to the third floor of the residence. The third floor consisted of 2 bedrooms and 1 bathroom. The bedroom on the west side of the floor was later determined to be Kaylee Gonsalves, hereafter Gonsalves room. I later learned from review of Officer Nunez's body camera that there was a dog in that room when Moscow police officers initially responded. The dog belonged to Gonsalves and her ex-boyfriend, Jack DeCoeur. I found out from Corporal Payne's interview that Jack DeCoeur, on November 13, 2022, that he and Gonsalves shared the dog. Officer Smith then pointed out a small bathroom on the east side of the third floor. The bathroom shared a wall with Madison Mogan's, hereafter Mogan bedroom, which was situated on the southeast corner of the third floor. As I entered this bedroom, I could see 2 females in a single bed in the room. Both Gonsalves and Mogan were deceased with visible stab wounds. I was later advised by ISP investigators that they located a tan leather knife sheath laying on the bed next to Mogan's right side when viewed from the door. The sheath was later processed and had K-Bar USMC and the United States Marine Corps Eagle Globe and Anchor insignia stamped on the outside of it. The Idaho State Lab later located a single source of male DNA left on the button snap of the knife sheath. As part of the investigation, numerous interviews were conducted by Moscow Police Department officers, Idaho State Police detectives, and FBI agents, and 2 of the interviews included BF hereafter BF, and DM, hereafter DM. Both BF and DM were inside the King Road residence at the time of the homicides and were roommates to the victims. BF's bedroom was located on the east side of the first floor of the King Road residence. Based on numerous interviews conducted by MPD officers, ISP detectives, and FBI agents, as well as my review of evidence, I have learned the following. On the evening of November 12, 2022, Chapin and Kernodle were seen by BF at the Sigma Chi house on University of Idaho campus at 735 Nez Perce Drive from approximately 9 p.m. BF also stated that Chapin did not live in the King Road residence, but was a guest of Kernodle. Gonsalves and Mogan were at a local bar, the Corner Club, at 202 North Main Street in Moscow. Gonsalves and Mogan can be seen on video footage provided by the Corner Club between 10 p.m. on November 12th and 1:30 a.m. on November 13th at approximately 1:30 a.m. Gonsalves and Mogan can be seen on video at a local food vendor called The Grub Truck at 318 South Main Street in downtown Moscow. The Grub Truck Live streams video from their food truck on the streaming platform Twitch, which is available for public viewing on their website. The video was captured by law enforcement. A private party reported that he provided a ride to Gonsalves and Mogan at approximately 1:56 a.m. from downtown Moscow in front of the Grub Truck to the King Road residence. DM and BF both made statements during interviews that indicated that the occupants of the King Road residence were at home by 2 a.m. and asleep or at least in their rooms by approximately 4 a.m. This is with the exception of Kernodle, who received a DoorDash order at the residence at approximately 4 a.m. Law enforcement identified the DoorDash delivery driver who reported this information. DM stated that she originally went to sleep in her bedroom on the southeast side of the second floor. DM stated that she was awoken at approximately 4 a.m. by what she stated sounded like Gonsalves playing with her dog in one of the upstairs bedrooms, which were located on the third floor. A short time later, DM said she heard who she thought was Gonsalves say something to the effect of, "There's someone here." A review of records obtained from a forensic download of Kernodle's phone showed this could also have been Kernodle, as her cellular phone indicated she was likely awake and using the TikTok app at approximately 4:12 a.m. DM stated that she looked out of her bedroom but did not see anything when she heard that comment about someone being in the house. DM stated that she opened her door a second time when she heard what she thought was crying coming from Kernodle's room. DM then said she heard a male voice say something to the effect of, "It's okay, I'm going to help you." At approximately 4:17 a.m., a security camera located at 1112 King Road, a residence immediately to the northwest of 1122 King Road, picked up a distorted audio of what sounded like voices or a whimper, followed by a loud thud. A dog can also be heard barking numerous times starting at 4:17 a.m. The security camera is less than 50 feet from the west wall of Kernodle's bedroom. DM stated that she opened the door for the third time after she heard the crying and saw a figure clad in black clothing and a mask that covered the person's mouth and nose walking towards her. DM described the figure as 5'10" or taller, male, not very muscular, but athletically built with bushy eyebrows. The male walked past DM as she stood in a frozen shock phase. The male walked towards the backsliding glass door. DM locked herself in her room after seeing the male. This leads investigators to believe that the murderer left the scene. During the processing of the crime scene, investigators found a latent shoe print. This was located during the second processing of the scene by the ISP forensic team, by first using a presumptive blood test and then amino black, a protein stain that detects the presence of cellular material. The detected shoe print showed a diamond-shaped pattern similar to the pattern of a Vans-type shoe sole, just outside the door of DM's bedroom, located on the second floor. This is consistent with DM's statement regarding the suspect's path of travel. As part of the investigation, an extensive search, commonly referred to in law enforcement as a video canvass, was conducted in the area of the King Road residence. This video canvass was to obtain any footage from the early morning hours of November 13, 2022, in the area of the King Road residence and surrounding neighborhoods in an effort to locate the suspect or suspect vehicles traveling to or leaving from the King Road residence. This video canvass resulted in the collection of numerous surveillance videos in the area from both residential and business addresses. I have reviewed numerous videos that were collected and had conversations with the other MPD officers, ISP detectives, FBI agents that are similarly reviewing footage that was obtained. A review of camera footage indicated that a white sedan, hereafter suspect vehicle 1, was observed traveling westbound in the 700 block of Indian Hills Drive in Moscow at approximately 3:26 a.m. and westbound on Steiner Avenue at Idaho State Highway 95 in Moscow at approximately 3:28 a.m. On this video, it appeared suspect vehicle 1 was not displaying a front license plate. A review of footage from multiple videos obtained from the King Road neighborhood showed multiple sightings of suspect vehicle 1 starting at 3:29 a.m. and ending at 4:20 a.m. Those sightings show suspect vehicle 1 makes an initial 3 passes by the 1122 King Road residence and then leaves via Willenta Drive. Based off of my experience as a patrol officer, this is a residential neighborhood with a very limited number of vehicles that travel in this area during the early morning hours. Upon review of this video, there are only a few cars that enter and exit this area during this time frame. Suspect vehicle 1 can be seen entering the area a 4th time at approximately 4:04 a.m. It can be seen driving eastbound on King Road, stopping and turning around in front of 500 Queen Road number 52, then driving back westbound on King Road. When suspect vehicle 1 is in front of the King Road residence, it appeared to unsuccessfully attempt to park or turn around in the road. The vehicle then continued to the intersection of Queen Road and King Road, where it can be seen completing a 3-point turn and then driving eastbound again down Queen Road. Suspect vehicle 1 is next seen departing the area of the King Road residence at approximately 4:20 a.m. at a high rate of speed. Suspect vehicle 1 is next observed traveling southbound on Willenta Drive. Based on my knowledge of the area and review of camera footage in the neighborhood that does not show suspect's vehicle 1 during that time frame, I believe that suspect vehicle 1 likely exited the neighborhood at Palouse River Drive and Conestoga Drive. Palouse River Drive is at the southern edge of Moscow and proceeds into Whitman County, Washington. Eventually, the road leads to Pullman, Washington. Pullman, Washington is approximately 10 miles from Moscow, Idaho, and both Pullman and Moscow are small college towns, and people commonly travel back and forth between them. Law enforcement officers provided video footage of suspect vehicle 1 to forensic examiners with the Federal Bureau of Investigation that regularly utilize surveillance footage to identify the year, make, and model of an unknown vehicle that is observed by one or more cameras during the commission of a criminal offense. The forensic examiner has approximately 35 years law enforcement experience with 12 years at the FBI. His specific training includes identifying unique characteristics of vehicles, and he uses a database that gives visual clues of vehicles across states to identify differences between vehicles. After reviewing the numerous observances of suspect vehicle 1, the forensic examiner initially believed that suspect vehicle 1 was a 2011 to a 2013 Honda Elantra. Upon further review, they indicated it could also be a 2011 to 2016 Hyundai Elantra. As a result, investigators have been reviewing information on persons in possession of a vehicle that is a 2011 to 2016 white Hyundai Elantra. Investigators were given access to video footage on the Washington State University WSU campus located in Pullman, Washington. WSU maintains a series of surveillance cameras on and near its campus. A review of that video indicated that at approximately 2:44 a.m. on November 13, 2022, a white sedan, which was consistent with the description of the white Elantra known as suspect vehicle 1, was observed on WSU surveillance cameras traveling north or on Southeast Nevada Street at Northeast Stadium Way. At approximately 2:53 a.m., a white sedan, which is consistent with the description of the white Elantra known as suspect vehicle 1, was observed traveling southeast on Nevada Street in Pullman, Washington, towards SR 270, State Route 270. State Route 270 connects Pullman, Washington to Moscow, Idaho. This camera footage from Pullman, Washington was provided to the same FBI forensic examiner, and the forensic examiner identified the vehicle observed in Pullman, Washington as being a 2014 to 2016 Hyundai Elantra. At approximately 5:25 a.m., a white sedan, which was consistent with the description of suspect vehicle 1, was observed on 5 cameras in Pullman, Washington, and on WSU campus cameras. The first camera that recorded the white sedan was located at 1300 Johnson Road in Pullman. The white sedan was observed traveling northbound on Johnson Road. Johnson Road leads directly back to West Palouse River Drive in Moscow, which intersects with Conestoga Drive. The white sedan was then observed turning north on Bishop Boulevard and northwest on State Route 70 at approximately 5:27 a.m. The white Elantra was observed on cameras traveling northbound on Stadium Way at Nevada Street, Stadium Way at Grimes Way, Stadium Way at Wilson Road, and Stadium Way at Cougar Way. Depiction showing Moscow to Pullman, depiction showing white Elantra's path of travel not to scale. On November 25th, 2022, MPD asked area law enforcement agencies to be on the lookout for the white Hyundai Elantra in the area. On November 29th, 2022, at approximately 12:28 a.m., Washington State University police officer Daniel Tiango queried white Elantras registered at WSU, and as a result of that query, he located a 2015 white Elantra with a Pennsylvania license plate LFZ 8649. This vehicle was registered to Bryan Kohberger, hereafter Kohberger, residing at 1630 Northeast Valley Road, apartment 201, Pullman, Washington. 1630 Northeast Valley Road is approximately 3/4 of a mile from the intersection of Stadium Way and Cougar Way, and that's the last camera location that picked up the white Elantra. The same day at approximately 12:58 a.m., WSU officer Curtis Whitman was looking for white Hyundai Elantras and located a 2015 white Hyundai Elantra at 1630 Northeast Valley Road in Pullman in the parking lot. 1630 Northeast Valley Road is an apartment complex that houses WSU students. Officer Whitman also ran the car, and it returned to Kohberger with a Washington tag. I reviewed Kohberger's Washington State driver's license information and photograph. The license indicates that Kohberger is a white male with a height of 6 feet and weighs 185 pounds. Additionally, the photograph of Kohberger shows that he has bushy eyebrows. Kohberger's physical description is consistent with the description of the male DM saw inside the King Road residence on November 13th. Further investigation, including a review of the Idaho County Sheriff's Deputy Corporal Duke's body camera and reports, show that on August 21st, 2022, that Bryan Kohberger was detained as part of a traffic stop that occurred in Moscow, Idaho, by Corporal Duke. At this time, Kohberger, who was the sole occupant, was driving a white 2015 Hyundai Elantra with Pennsylvania plate LFC 8649, which was set to expire on November 30th, 2022. During the stop, which was recorded via a law enforcement body camera, Kohberger provided his phone number at 509-592-8458, hereafter the 8458 phone, as his cellular telephone number. Investigators conducted electronic database queries and learned that 8458 phone is a number issued by AT&T. On October 14th, 2022, Bryan Kohberger was detained as part of a traffic stop by a WSU police officer. Upon a review of that body camera and report of the stop, Kohberger was the sole occupant and was driving a white 2015 Hyundai Elantra with a Pennsylvania license plate LFZ 8649. On November 18th, according to Washington State Licensing, Kohberger registered the 2015 white Elantra with Washington and later received a Washington plate CFB 8708. Prior to this time, the 2015 white Elantra was registered in Pennsylvania, which does not require a front license plate to be displayed. This was learned through communications with a Pennsylvania officer who is currently certified in the state of Pennsylvania. Based on my own experience and communication with Washington law enforcement, I know that Idaho and Washington require front and back license plates to be displayed. Investigators believe that Kohberger is still driving the 2015 white Elantra because his vehicle was captured on December 13th by a license plate reader in Loma, Colorado. Information provided by a query to a database. Kohberger's Elantra was then queried on December 15, 2022, law enforcement in Hancock County, Indiana. On December 16, 2022, at approximately 2:26 p.m., surveillance video showed Kohberger's Elantra in Albertsville, Pennsylvania. The sole occupant of the vehicle was a male, whose description was consistent with Kohberger. Kohberger has family in Albertsville, Pennsylvania, and that's learned through TLO, which is a search and locate tool database query used by law enforcement. Based on information provided on the WSU website, Kohberger is currently a PhD student in criminology at Washington State University. Pursuant to records provided by a member of the interview panel for Pullman Police Department, we learned that Kohberger's past education included undergraduate degrees in psychology and cloud-based forensics. These records also showed Kohberger wrote an essay which he applied for an internship with the Pullman Police Department in the fall of 2022. Kohberger wrote in his essay that he had interest in assisting rural law enforcement agencies with how to better collect and analyze technological data in public safety operations. Kohberger also posted a Reddit survey, which can be found by an open source internet search. The survey asked for participants to provide information to understand how emotions and psychological traits influence decision making when committing a crime. As part of this investigation, law enforcement obtained search warrants to determine cellular devices that utilized cellular towers in close proximity to the King Road residence on November 13, 2022, between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. After determining that Kohberger was associated to both the 2015 white Hyundai Elantra and the 8458 phone, investigators reviewed these search warrant returns. A query of the 8458 phone in these returns did not show that 8458 phone utilized cellular towers resources in close proximity to King Road residents between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. Based on my training, experience, and conversations with law enforcement officers that specialize in the utilization of cellular telephone records as part of investigations, individuals can either leave their cellular telephone at a different location before committing a crime or turn their cellular telephone off prior to going to a location to commit a crime. This is done by subjects in an effort to avoid alerting law enforcement that a cellular device associated with them was in a particular area when a crime is committed. I also know that on numerous occasions, subjects will surveil an area where they intend to commit a crime prior to the date of the crime. Depending on the circumstances, this could be done a few days before or for several months prior to the commission of a crime. During these types of surveillance, it is possible that an individual would not leave their cellular telephone at a separate location or turn it off since they do not plan to commit the offense on that particular day. On December 23, 2022, Corporal Payne applied for and was granted a search warrant for historical phone records between November 12, 2022 at 12 a.m. and November 14th at 12 a.m. for the 8458 phone held by the phone provider AT&T approximately 24 hours preceding and following the times of the homicides. On December 23, 2022, pursuant to that search warrant, Corporal Payne received records for the 8458 phone from AT&T. The records indicated that the 8458 phone is subscribed to Bryan Kohberger at an address in Albertsville, Pennsylvania, and the account has been open since June 23, 2022. These records also included historical cell site location information for the 8458 phone. After receiving this information, MPD consulted with an FBI special agent that is certified as a member of the Cellular Analysis Survey Team, CAST. Members of CAST are certified with the FBI to provide expert testimony in the field of historical CSLI and are required to pass extensive training that includes both written and practical examinations prior to be certified with CAST, as well as the completion of a yearly certification requirements. Additionally, the FBI CAST special agent that I consulted with has over 15 years of federal law enforcement experience, which includes 6 years with the FBI. From information provided by CAST investigators, we're able to determine estimated locations for the 8458 phone from November 12, 2022 to November 13, 2022, the time period authorized by the court. On November 13, 2022, at approximately 2:42 a.m., the 8458 phone was utilizing cellular resources that provided coverage to 1630 Northeast Valley Road, apartment G201, Pullman, Washington, hereafter the Kohberger residence. At approximately 2:47 a.m., the 8458 phone utilized cellular resources that provide coverage southeast of the Kohberger residence, consistent with the 8458 phone leaving the Kohberger residence and traveling south through Pullman, Washington, and this is consistent with the movement of the white Elantra. At approximately 2:47 a.m., the 8458 phone stops reporting to the network, which is consistent with either the phone being in an area without cell coverage, the connection to the network is disabled, such as putting the phone in airplane mode, or that the phone is turned off. The 8458 phone does not report to the network again until approximately 4:48 a.m., at which time it utilized cellular resources that provide coverage to Idaho State Highway 95 south of Moscow, Idaho, and near Blaine, Idaho, town north of Genesee, between 4:50 a.m. and 5:26 a.m. The phone utilizes resources that are consistent with the 8458 phone traveling south on Idaho State Highway 95 to Genesee, Idaho, and then traveling west towards Uniontown, Idaho, and then north back into Pullman, Washington. At approximately 5:30 a.m., the 8458 phone is utilizing resources that provide coverage to Pullman, Washington, and consistent with the phone traveling back to the Kohberger residence. The 8458 phone's movements are consistent with the movements of the white Elantra that is observed traveling north on Stadium Drive at approximately 5:27 a.m. Based on a review of the 8458's phone, estimated locations and travel, the 8458 phone travel is consistent with that of the white Elantra. Further review indicated that the 8458 phone utilized cellular resources on November 13th, 2022 that are consistent with the 8458 phone leaving the area of the Kohberger residence at approximately 9 a.m. and traveling to Moscow, Idaho. Specifically, the 8458 phone utilized cellular resources that would provide coverage to the King Road residence between 9:12 a.m. and 9:21 a.m. The 8458 phone next utilized cellular resources that are consistent with the 8458 phone traveling back to the area of the Kohberger residence and arriving to the area at approximately 9:32 a.m. Below is a depiction, not to scale, of the possible route taken based off of the cellular site locations. Investigators found that the 8458 phone did connect to a cell phone tower that provided service to Moscow on November 14th. But investigators do not believe the 8458 phone was in Moscow on that date. The 8458 phone has not been connected to any towers that provide service to Moscow since that date. Based on my training experience and the facts of the investigation thus far, I believe that Kohberger, the user of the 8458 phone, was likely the driver of the white Elantra that is observed departing Pullman, Washington, and that his vehicle is likely suspect vehicle 1. Additionally, the route of travel of the 8458 phone during the early morning hours of November 13, 2022, and the lack of the 8458 phone reporting to AT&T between 2:47 a.m. and 4:48 a.m. is consistent with Kohberger attempting to conceal his location during the quadruple homicide that occurred at the King Road residence. On December 23, 2022, I was granted a search warrant for Kohberger's historical CSLI from June 23, 2022 to current prospective location information and a pen register trap and trace on the 8458 phone to aid in efforts to determine if Kohberger stalked any of the victims. In this case, prior to the offense, conducted surveillance on the King Road residence, was in contact with any of the victims' associates before or after the alleged offense, any locations that may contain evidence of the murders that occurred on November 13, 2022, the location of the white Elantra registered to Kohberger, as well as the location of Kohberger. On December 23rd, pursuant to that search warrant, investigators received historical records for the 8458 phone from AT&T from the time the account was opened in June of 2022. After consulting with the CAST special agent, investigators were able to determine estimated locations for the 8458 phone from June 2022 to present, the time period authorized by the court. The records for the 8458 phone show the 8458 phone utilizing cell resources that provided coverage to the area of 1122 King Road on at least 12 occasions prior to November 13, 2022. And all of these occasions, except for one, occurred in the late evening and early morning hours of their respective days. One of these occasions, on August 21, 2022, the 8458 phone utilized cellular resources, providing coverage to the King Road residents from approximately 10:34 p.m. to 11:35 p.m. At approximately 11:37 p.m., Kohberger was stopped by the Lauder County Sheriff's Deputy Corporal Duke, as mentioned above. The 8548 phone was utilizing cell towers consistent with the location of the traffic stop during the time, Farm Road and Pullman Highway. Further analysis of this cellular data provided showed the 8458 858 phone utilized cellular resources on November 13th, 2022, consistent with the phone traveling from Pullman, Washington to Lewiston, Idaho via U.S. Highway 195 at approximately 12:36 p.m. The 8458 phone utilized cellular resources that would provide coverage to Kate's Cup of Joe coffee stand located at 810 Port Drive, Clarkston, Washington. Surveillance footage from the U.S. Chef store located at 820 Port Drive, Clarkston, Washington, and adjacent to Kate's Cup of Joe, showed a white Elantra consistent with the suspect vehicle 1 drive past Kate's Cup of Joe at a time consistent with the cellular data from the 8548 phone. At approximately 12:46 p.m., the 8458 phone then utilized cell data in the area of Albertsons grocery store at 400 Bridge Street in Clarkston, Washington. Surveillance footage obtained from the Albertsons showed Kohberger exit the white Elantra, consistent with suspect vehicle 1 at approximately 12:49 p.m. Interior surveillance cameras showed Kohberger walk through the store, purchase unknown items at the checkout, and leave at approximately 1:04 p.m. Kohberger's possible path of travel is depicted below, not to scale. Additional analysis of records for the 8458 phone indicated that between approximately 5:32 p.m. and 5:36 p.m., the 8458 phone utilized cellular resources that provided coverage to Johnson, Washington. The 8458 phone then stops reporting to the network from approximately 5:36 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. That is consistent with the 8458 phone being the area that the 8458 phone traveled in the hours immediately following the suspected time of the homicides occurred. The King Road residence contained a significant amount of blood from the victims, including spatter and cast-off. Bloodstain pattern resulting from blood drops released from an object due to its motion. Okay, what they're saying there is, of course, if someone is stabbing someone, the spatter, the cast-off from the knife will make a certain pattern. And because it's on the surfaces there, they would surmise that it's going to be on the person that's perpetrating this awful crime, right? That's what they're saying. So bloodstain pattern resulting from blood drops released from an object due to its motion, which based on my training makes it likely that this evidence was transferred to Kohberger's person, clothing or shoes. He would have blood spatter, cast off on his clothing or shoes, right? Based on the location of the suspect's vehicle and the 8458 phone immediately following the murders, it is probable that Kohberger went home to his residence at 1630 Northeast Valley Road, G201. At that time, it is likely that he still had blood or other trace evidence on his person, clothes, or shoes, including skin cells or hair from the victims or from Gonsalves's dog. It is likely that some trace evidence was transferred to areas in his apartment through contact with the items worn during the attack. One likely location for the clothes, mask, shoes that he was wearing during the attack would be his residence. While I believe Kohberger is visiting his family in Pennsylvania over the current school break at WSU, I believe he intends to return for the start of the next semester. So I expect his belongings to still be in his residence at 1630 Northeast Valley Road, G201. To date, we have not recovered the weapon used in the homicides, which would indicate that he took it with him from the scene. Based on my training, that weapon will likely contain trace evidence on it, such as blood or skin or hair from the crime scene. One likely location for the weapon or any sheath for the weapon would be in his residence. Based on my training and experience, when someone plans an event or action, one likely location for doing so is in their residence or office. One would not want to conduct such planning in public if they are planning a criminal act, and so it is even more likely that planning of a criminal act would be done in one's residence or office. These murders appear to have been planned rather than a crime that happened in a moment of conflict. I believe it's likely that Kohberger planned his actions ahead of time. The plans may have included a review of other murders or violent assault, stabbing, and or cutting of people, as well as how to avoid detection after the commission of such crimes. Details of the 1122 King Road residence, its location, neighborhood, and or information about one or more of the victims, Ethan Chapin, Kaylee Gonsalves, Xana Kernodle, Madison Mogan, BF, and or DM. Further, based on my training and experience, criminals utilize electronic digital devices as well as paper or other media in conducting planning of crimes, just as non-criminals use various media to plan activities. Therefore, there is probable cause to believe that digital devices were used and or are being used in furtherance of the listed crimes or to avoid detection for the listed crimes, and are likely to contain evidence of the listed crimes. Now, already people have taken this. This is in support of a warrant. The person is saying, I believe this just from my knowledge of how people plan crimes, commit crimes, that he may have studied other criminals, assaults. He may have searched on his computer for how to avoid detection. He may have searched on his computer for these things of how to commit these crimes. But it's already been taken that this is fact. See, this is like, do you remember the Chris Watts search warrant where they wrote what they thought would be found and they put the kids' toys and the blankets, and it was written on a Post-it note, and you had a creator that went around and said that that was the search warrant and that was what was found, and I had to make an entire video about it? This is the kind of stuff. This is what they're saying could be found there. He may have done these things. But it's already been reported that investigators knew he was following certain serial killers. You should see what's out there already. It's crazy. Okay? It's going to get crazier. Evidence of the crimes described in this application could be contained in any type of digital device. The terms digital device and device include all devices capable of capturing and or storing digital data, such as computer, digital cameras, modems, routers, external memory drives, thumb drives, cellular telephones, GPS navigation devices, etc. Data stored on digital devices and media can be easily transferred from one device or storage media to another. Forensic experts and others with experience in retrieving and analyzing digital data have established the following. Digital devices typically retain some evidence of all activity taken via the device or associated media, and as such could contain evidence of a crime. For example, data, whether stored intentionally or unintentionally, can contain evidence of knowledge, intent, efforts to conceal, sell, or dispose of evidence or proceeds of criminal activity, accomplice identity, association with victims, or geographic location of the device possessor at particular dates and times. This information can be in numerous forms, such as photographs, address books, or contact lists, or communication with others through means such as phone calls, emails, instant messaging, social media, chat sessions, or other digital communications. Evidence can remain on the device or media for indefinite periods of time after communication originally took place, even if deleted by the user. Information deleted by the user may be recovered by a forensic examiner throughout the working lifespan of the device. Digital data can be found in numerous locations and formats. Evidence can be embedded into unlikely files for the type of evidence, such as a photo included in a document or converted into a PDF file or other format in an effort to conceal their existence. Information on devices and media can be stored in random order with deceptive file names, hidden from normal view, encrypted or password protected, and stored on unusual devices for the type of data, such as routers, printers, scanners, gamer consoles, or other devices that are similarly capable of storing digital data. Wholly apart from user-generated files and data, digital devices and media typically store, often without any conscious action by the user, electronic evidence pertaining to virtually all actions taken on the digital device, and often information about the geographic location at which the device was turned on and or used. The data includes logs of device use, records of the creation, modification, deletion, and or sending of files, and uses of the internet, such as use of social media, websites, and internet searches and browsing. Device-generated data also includes information regarding the user identity at any particular date and time, usage logs, and information pertaining to the physical location of the device over time, pointers to outside storage locations, such as cloud storage, is being used. If the device is synced with other devices, it will retain a record of that action. Digital device users typically do not erase or delete this evidence because special software or use of special settings are usually required for the task. However, it is technically possible to delete this information. Digital devices RAN also reveal clues to other locations at which evidence may be found. For example, digital devices often maintain logs of connected digital or remote storage devices. A scanner or printer may store information that would identify the digital device with which it was used. Forensic examination of the device can often reveal those other locations where evidence may be present. As with other types of evidence, the context, location, and data surrounding information in the device data is often necessary to understand whether evidence falls within the scope of the warrant. This type of information will be important by the forensic examiner's ability to piece together and recognize evidence of the above listed crimes. Digital device programs frequently require passwords, phrases, codes, patterns, fingerprints, and or usernames to operate. Those may be kept inside a device, media, or outside in some other area known to the user. So, in addition to searching a digital device and media for evidence of the above listed crimes, investigators will need to search both the premises searched and the digital devices for this information. The forensic examiner may also need to may need the following items in order to conduct a thorough and accurate search of the device: computer hardware, software, peripherals, internal or external storage devices, power supplies, cables, internet connection, and use information security devices, software manuals, and related material. Modern digital devices and media can contain many gigabytes and even terabytes of data. Due to the potential for an extremely large volume of data contained in devices and media, and the fact that evidence can be stored, located in unanticipated locations or formats, and or embedded in other areas stored on the device, media investigators typically need to use specialized equipment in their search. Such large volumes of data also mean that searches can take days or even weeks to complete. For these reasons, I request authority to remove from the search location all digital devices and media that could contain evidence authorized for seizure under the warrant for subsequent search. I also request authority to obtain assistance from a technical specialist to review the digital device and digital media for the best and least intrusive method of securing digital evidence that the warrant authorizes for seizure, and to assist in securing such evidence. Based on all the foregoing information, there is probable cause to believe that evidence of the above listed crimes exists in the below described digital devices, and that there is probable cause to seize and search those devices for the evidence of the above crimes for the date range August 21st, 2022 to 11:59 p.m. on November 14th, 2022, including evidence of other accounts associated with this device, including email addresses, social media accounts, messaging app accounts, and other accounts that may be accessed through the digital device that will aid in determining the possessor or user of the device. Photographs, images, videos, documents, related data created, accessed, read, modified, received, stored, sent, moved, deleted, or otherwise manipulated between the above dates. Evidence of use of the device to conduct internet searches relating to a review of other murders or violent assaults, stabbing and or cutting of people, as well as how to avoid detection after the commission of such crimes. Details of the 1122 King Road house, its location, neighborhood, and or information about one or more of the victims, Ethan Chapin, Kaylee Gonsalves, Xana Kernodle, Madison Mogan, BF, and or DM. Information that can be used to calculate the position of the device between the above dates, including location data, GPS satellite data, GPS coordinates for routes and destination queries between the above listed dates, app data or usage information, and related location information, IP logs or similar internet connection information, and images created, accessed, or modified between the above listed dates, together with their metadata and EXIF tags. Evidence of the identity of the person in possession of the device on or about times the items of evidentiary value located pursuant to the warrant were created, modified, accessed, or otherwise manipulated. Such evidence may be found in digital communications, photos and video, and associated metadata, IP documents, social media activity, and similar data. Based on ISP investigators' view of the apartment on December 27th, 2022, I know that 1630 Northeast Valley Road is a 3-story, multiple occupancy apartment building in Pullman, Washington, which is tan and white in color. Apartment G201 is located on the northeast corner of the 2nd story of the building. The door to G201 is located on the east side of the 2nd story landing and is designated by the numbers 201 on the door. The door is white with a swinging screen door on the outside of the main door to the residence. Kohberger has been identified as the occupant of this apartment on leasing documents obtained via subpoena as part of this investigation. Investigators have been informed via the postal inspector that Kohberger is the only person receiving mail at apartment G201, and this leads investigators to believe he is the sole occupant. Based on all of the above information, I conclude that there is a probability that Kohberger committed the 4 murders at the King Road residence. I have probable cause to believe evidence of the crimes committed at the King Road residence will be found at Kohberger's residence located at 1630 Northeast Valley Road, apartment 201, Pullman, Washington. I have probable cause to believe that Bryan Kohberger committed the crimes of murder first degree in 4 counts and burglary, all felonies. Mr. Kohberger has been charged with the above offenses in Lauder County, Idaho. Based on all of the above information, I am seeking a search warrant for the Kohberger residence to search for 1. Blood or other body fluid or human tissue or skin cells, or items with blood or other body fluids or human tissue or skin cells on the items. 2. Knives, sheaths, or other sharp tools, including any dagger, dirk, or sword, and any written indicia of ownership of same, including sales receipts. Any images, whether digital or on paper or any other format, which show Ethan Chapin, Kaylee Gonsalves, Xana Kernodle, Madison Mogan, BFN or DM, or the house at 1122 King Road, Moscow, Idaho, and or the surrounding neighborhood. clothing, including but not limited to a dark shirt, dark pants, masks, shoes with a diamond pattern sole. 5. Trace evidence, including DNA from blood or skin cells or other sources, footprints, fingerprints, hair, whether human or animal/dog. 6. Data compilations, whether digital, electronic, or on paper or other format, showing an interest in or planning of murder, violent assault, stabbing, and or cutting of people. And data compilation showing details of the 1122 King Road house, its location, and or any evidence about Ethan Chapin, Kaylee Gonsalves, Xana Kernodle, Madison Mogen, BF, and or DM. And data compilations showing the location of Bryan Kohberger or the cell phone with the number 509-592-8458 on November 13th, 2022, including Wi-Fi logs and data or metadata associated with photos, social media posts, or applications on cell phones or computer towers, laptops, tablets, as example, but not intended to be an exclusive list or data compilation being sought, ledgers, papers, lists, books, notes, letters, calendars, address books, contact lists, diaries, tapes, photographs, videos, emails, text messages, social media posts, messages, and metadata associated therewith. 7. Electronic digital devices or digital storage devices which may contain any of the above data compilations, including cell phones, computer towers, laptops, tablets, external hard drives, CD, DVD, thumb drive, or other data storage devices. This includes any device which may contain evidence of other accounts associated with this device, including email addresses, social media accounts, messaging apps accounts, and other accounts that may be accessed through the digital device and will aid in determining the possessor of the device. Photographs, images, videos, documents, and related data created, accessed, read, modified, received, stored, sent, moved, deleted, or otherwise manipulated between the above dates. Evidence of use of the device to conduct internet searches relating to a review of other murder or violent assault, stabbing, and or cutting of people, as well as how to avoid detection after the commission of such crimes, details of the 1122 King Road house, its location, neighborhood, and or information about one or more of the victims, Ethan Chapin, Kaylee Gonsalves, Xana Kernodle, Madison Mogen, BF, and or DM. Information that can be used to calculate the position of the device between the above dates, including location data, GPS, satellite data, GPS coordinates for routes and destination queries between the above listed dates, app data or usage information, and related information, IP logs or similar internet connection information, and images created, accessed, or modified between the above listed dates together with their metadata and EXIF tags. Evidence of the identity of the person in possession of the device on or about any times the item of evidentiary value located pursuant to this warrant was created, modified, accessed, or otherwise manipulated. Such evidence may be found in digital communications, photos and video, and associated metadata, IP logs, documents, social media activity, and similar data. Also, passwords, phrases, codes, patterns, fingerprints, and or usernames to operate any such device. Indicia of residence in or ownership or possession of the premises and any of the above items. I am seeking a search warrant for Kohberger's office at WSU to search for 1. Any images, whether digital or on paper or any other format, which show Ethan Chapin, Kaylee Gonsalves, Xana Kernodle, Madison Mogen, BF, and or DM, and or the house at 1122 King Road, Moscow, Idaho, or the surrounding neighborhood. Data compilations, whether digital, electronic, or on paper or other format, showing an interest in or planning of murder, violent assault, stabbing, and or cutting of people. And data compilation showing details of the 1122 King Road house, its location, and or any information about Ethan Chapin, Kayla Gonsalves, Xana Carnoodle, Madison Mogan, BF, and or DM, and data compilation showing the location of Bryan Kohberger or the cell phone with the number 509-592-8458. On November 13, 2022, including Wi-Fi logs and data or metadata associated with photos, social media posts, or applications on cell phones or computer towers, laptops, or tablets. As example, but not intended to be an exclusive list of data compilations being sought: ledgers, papers, lists, books, notes, letters, calendars, address books, contact lists, diaries, tapes, photographs, videos, emails, text messages, social media posts, messages, and metadata associated therewith. Electronic digital devices or digital storage devices, which may contain any of the above data compilations, including cell phones, computer towers, laptops, tablets, external hard drives, CD, DVD, thumb drives, or other data storage devices. This includes any device which may contain evidence of other accounts associated with this device, including email addresses, social media accounts, messaging app accounts, and other accounts that may be accessed through the digital device that will aid in determining the possessor, user of the device. Photographs, images, videos, documents, and related data created, accessed, read, modified, received, stored, sent, moved, deleted, or otherwise manipulated between the above dates. Evidence of use of the device to conduct internet searches relating to a review of other murders or violent assaults, stabbing, and or of cutting of people, as well as how to avoid detection after the commission of such crimes. Details of the 1122 King Road house, its location, neighborhood, and or information about one or more of the victims: Ethan Chapin, Kayla Gonsalves, Xana Carnoodle, Madison Mogan, BF, and or DM. Information that can be used to calculate the position of the device between the above dates, including location data, GPS satellite data, GPS coordinates for routes and destination queries between the above listed dates, app data or usage information and related location information, IP logs or similar internet connection information, and images created, accessed, or modified between the above listed dates, together with their metadata and EXIF tags. Evidence of the identity of the person in possession of the device on or about any times that items of evidentiary value located pursuant to this warrant were created, modified, accessed, or otherwise manipulated. Such evidence may be found in digital communications, photos and video, and associated metadata, IP logs, documents, social media activity, and similar data. Also, passwords, phrases, codes, patterns, fingerprints, and or usernames to operate any such device. Indicia of ownership or possession or right to use of the office premises and any of the above items. Based off the above information, I am seeking a search warrant for Kohberger's office on the Washington State University campus. I have probable cause to believe evidence of the crimes committed at the King Road residence will be found in Kohberger's office located on the WSU campus at Wilson Short Hall, number 12, Pullman, Washington. It is common for individuals to keep documents, records, and information of the type described above in their office, and Kohberger's office is the other location identified where this evidence could be found. Based off of the WSU website, Kohberger's office is inside Wilson Short Hall. The address of Wilson Short Hall is 1475 Glen Terrell Mall, Pullman, Washington, 99163. Wilson Short Hall is a 4-story brick building housing multiple offices. Kohberger's office is number 12. Number 12 is a student office that's shared by Kohberger and 2 fellow WSU students, Kai Yon Chen and, I'm going to mess these up, Nayung Ko. Kohberger has been confirmed to be one of the students who utilizes this office. On December 29th, 2022, investigators visited the office and Kohberger's name is on the outside. Based off, when was that date? On December 20th. And Kohberger's name is on the outside. Based off the above information, I am also seeking a search warrant for Kohberger's office on the Washington State University campus. It is common for individuals to keep documents, records, and information of the type described above in their office, and Kohberger's office is the other location identified where this evidence could be found. I declare under penalty of perjury to the laws of the states of Idaho, Washington, and Pennsylvania that the foregoing is true and correct. Okay. Now, this is Superior Court, Whitman County, Washington. State of Washington, County of Whitman. Return of service of search warrant. This was sealed apparently, but per 1/17/2023 court order, it is unsealed. Issued by Superior Court Judge Gary J. Libby. Date issued 12/29/2022. Date served 12/30/2022. Served by Assistant Chief Dawn Daniels, 302. Served in person. Items seized. All seized from residence and currently stored at WSU PD. Here's what they have. Items seized. 1. Nitrile type black glove. 1 Walmart receipt with 1 Dickies tag. Dickies is a brand of clothing. It's normally like work clothing type of thing. 2 Marshall's receipts. Marshall's is a discount store, and I'm just saying this in case you're not familiar, you're not in the United States and you're not familiar with that. Dust container from Abyssal Power Force vacuum. 8 possible hair strands. 1 Fire TV stick with cord plug. 1 possible animal hair strand. 1 possible hair. 1 possible hair. 1 possible hair. 1 possible hair strand. 1 computer tower. 1 collection of dark red spot collected without testing. B. 2 cuttings from an uncased pillow of reddish brown stain, larger stain tested. 2 top and bottom of mattress cover packaged separately, both labeled C, multiple stains, 1 tested. And that is it. Okay, so they have 1 nitrile type glove, black. They don't mention that it had any stains on it, whether it was used, unused. So we don't know what that is. Then you have a Walmart receipt with 1 Dickies tag. Now, I imagine with the Dickies tag, they're saying what it's a the tag from article that he bought. Dickies makes belts, they make shirts, they make pants. So, what did he buy? We don't see any, interesting to see any like sporting goods places where he would have bought the knife, right? Then he has 2 Marshall's receipts. Marshall's, what's he buying over there in Marshall's? And the dust container from the Bissell Power Force vacuum. I don't know why they didn't take the entire vacuum. Anybody that has a vacuum knows that there are hairs around the roller like crazy, right? Because if you're vacuuming, and if you're vacuuming up hair, there's a good chance if there's a brush or anything on that, that hair is going to get stuck in the brush. Now, yeah, they probably, looked at that. Why wouldn't they just take the whole vacuum and have somebody, because it could be in the inside, they could blow it out. Why wouldn't they take the whole vacuum? It's just weird. But they took just the dust container from the Bissell Power Force. Some of those other hairs they might have gotten out of the roller, but why wouldn't they take the whole vacuum, right? Yeah. 8 possible hair strands. So those may have come from the vacuum, but why not just take the whole vacuum and then blow out stuff? I don't know. 1 fire TV stick with cord and plug. 1 possible animal hair strand. 1 possible hair. Now, see, these hairs are listed differently, so separately. So they're 1 possible hair, 1 possible hair, 1 possible hair, and then it says 1 possible hair strand. 1 computer tower, 1 collection of dark red spot. Collected without testing. They don't say where that dark red spot was. They don't mention finding his clothing, right? 2 cuttings from an uncased pillow of a reddish brown stain, larger stain, tested. 2 top and bottom of mattress cover. Top and bottom of mattress cover. Packaged separately. Both labeled C. Multiple stains. 1 tested. So let's see what the chat is saying. Victims could have pulled his hair and it was on his clothes. But they didn't even find his clothes, right? They don't mention any shirts or pants or any mask taken. The only gloves they mention is one nitrile type black glove. They have the computer tower, which contains the hard drive and all of that. They don't mention any tablets, other phones, burner phones, anything like that. It doesn't sound like they got a lot of stuff, does it? I mean, they have the computer tower, yeah, and the fire stick. But as of his clothing, he probably buried that clothing or threw it somewhere when he was taking that trip the following day, that 5-hour trip. He probably got rid of that knife and all that stuff. Now, they don't mention his car and what they got out of that because it's not in this search warrant. That would have been served in Pennsylvania and would be separate. So this is served in Washington. I don't know why I'm getting like severe deja vu when I'm reading that Chief Dawn Daniels, and I remember reading something to Scooter and her saying something about Dawn and me thinking like Dawn dish detergent. And that's all I've had in my head, and I'm having like severe deja vu, so I don't know what's going on. But it's like I already remember doing that. And I hadn't read this to anyone before this because I had to take Ethan to basketball, and then I had an appointment before that. Doodles, shedding clumps. Yeah, it's very rare that it's like one. Dogs that are non-shedding dogs, usually you have to really tug at their hair. You can get some off, but that's why they use that. What's that? The stripper is what they use to, like with terriers and stuff. It's called a stripper, and it kind of goes in and I think it like lightly tugs at their hair. It thins their hair out. I'm thinking like I have all non-shedding dogs. And my son's dog is a shedder, is a dachshund that sheds. There's a big difference when the dachshund goes by or the dachshund is on your lap than with a non-shedding dog. But if you're like pulling, but if like you just even gently just pull a little bit when you're petting your non-shedding dog, hair will come out. Okay. I'm trying to think of something recently where I saw.
Yeah, they do
There was a
drop
black
hair.
hair.
My mother had poodles, and I think they're not, but they do drop some hair, or when you brush them or something, or
Yeah, if they're brushed, yeah, the hair will come out.
do
But it's
they get some hair out? I'm curious about like C, where they said one tested, but who knows the result of, I'd be curious about what happened with the one tested.
right. It hasn't been, yeah. But it's an
Yeah.
uncased pillow, so that's just like it sounds like a bed pillow without a pillowcase. Now, there's a lot of reasons that those could have reddish brown stains. A lot of people can bleed from their mouth during the night. Well, it's gross, but yes, it happens, and a lot of people can have these stains on their pillow, and it can be caused for a variety of reasons. But there are people that happens to. Being it's on an uncased pillow, that may be his blood. So sometimes their gums bleed at night. Sometimes they grind their teeth and their gums can bleed. Sometimes they can bite their lip during the night and have stains like that on a pillow.
Not to mention nosebleeds.
Yeah, nosebleeds. A
I
lot of
quite frequently get nosebleeds for no reason.
a lot of that can be, and so also if they wear any kind of an appliance, like a retainer or something like that, that can cause bleeding, like bleeding from the gums, and that can be found on a pillow. So that may be his blood on that uncased pillow. But it could also be if he had any kind of a cut from the attack. I don't think he would put his hand on a pillow, but who knows? Now, the top and bottom mattress cover.
Yeah, I'm confused on that. Package separately.
So they package the samples of it separately, but they're both labeled C. They have multiple stains when tested, but I just don't know what it means, top and bottom of a mattress cover. What do they mean, top and bottom?
I don't understand that.
Do they mean like a stain on the underside of it that they cut out and a stain on the, like, wouldn't they just take the whole top? Unless they're saying top and bottom, but no, if they're packaged separately, they actually have two different samples. I don't know. It's very strange. Top and bottom of a mattress cover. Very weird. Unless, I mean, if he used that mattress cover to clean up, he would have gotten rid of it. Like if he would have brought that there to cover his seat or something, he would have got rid of it wherever he got rid of his clothing, wherever he got rid of that knife. He wouldn't hold on to the mattress cover that's stained.
Maybe the blood seeped through to the other side.
Yeah, but why? I don't know why he would keep that top sheet and mattress sheet.
And it says two top and bottom. Two top. Like the numeral 2, top and bottom. Two top. I don't know. I can't picture what they're saying there.
Yeah, I would think they would have found something more. Well, we don't know what is on that computer thing. I don't know why they wouldn't take the whole vacuum. I really don't. Because stuff can be in the inside of that. There could, I don't know. They should just take it, blow it completely out into something.
It could be on the roller that it grabs it with.
Yeah, that's what I said. And they might have gotten those hair samples that they got, but they should just take the whole thing in there to have it and have somebody really go over it. I don't know why they just didn't take the whole thing. Because a lot of the stuff gets stuck in the filter. You don't know, whatever. But in that inner part of the vacuum, there could be hairs stuck to the inside by static electricity. The fire stick, I guess the fire stick will allow you to, I don't have a fire TV stick. Does that work like a computer? I mean, can you do a search for stuff on the Fire TV stick? Or will it tell what time he was watching TV, or if he changed, like, does it record that? I wonder what the Fire TV stick can tell us.
It may, because you can download you can have any single show on at any time you want. So they may have looked at that to find out what time he was watching TV, yeah.
Yeah.
They're illegal. They're illegal unless you buy them. Some people just get them for like a discount price and stuff, and it's illegal.
Well, the Fire, yeah, right. They buy them, but they're legal if you buy it off of Amazon.
Right.
Yeah. It is, right. You can do a search on, okay. But Cranky Babishko says, yeah, you can do searches on Fire TV sticks. I see, okay. And, yeah, I don't know. I mean, and the marshal's receipts, those are the only receipts that they took. There's not anything from a sporting goods store or a restaurant that he was at, or even, they don't even have the Albertsons receipt there, which he probably got rid of from his car. One Walmart receipt with a Dickies tag. Wonder what he was doing with Dickies. They didn't talk about the shoes either, right? So he probably got rid of all of that, along with the knife. And
they didn't mention taking clothing, did they?
That's what I mean. Yeah, no, not at all.
No.
No. So I think he must have got rid of the clothing.
Somewhere it said they took the shoes and they were Vons.
No, they said they took the print, and it has a diamond-shaped print, which is very much like the Vans.
Okay, because I thought they said they found the shoes.
No, they haven't found the shoe. Nope. And it doesn't look like they found anything much at his office. I don't know why whatever device was in his office, do you think they couldn't take it because of that the other people shared that computer? I don't think so. How come they only have one computer tower? There's got to be if he used, why would you be in that office if you didn't have a computer or a laptop, and they didn't seize his laptop, which he may have taken, maybe he used a laptop and maybe he took it with him to Pennsylvania, which is also going to be a search warrant on his parents' house. So out of the office, if they all use laptops, then there was no computer device to take from that office, and he didn't leave any notes or anything there of any value. Well, that's what it looks like, and it doesn't look like much was taken from the office, if anything. It says top and bottom mattress covers were packaged separately, so this assumes the top and bottom mattress cover are two independent pieces. Has anyone seen such a thing? No.
Yeah.
Unless, you know what? I wonder if they're talking about like one of those foam mattress toppers and then a mattress protector on top of it. I don't know. I don't know.
Well, like they have the numeral 2 before top. 2 top.
And bottom of mattress covers.
I don't get it.
Top and
that
bottom.
terminology is very confusing.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Carolyn, why would they prepare the parents for a search in their house? Because that would give them time to get rid of stuff, wouldn't it?
Who said they prepared the parents?
I thought you said that there's a search warrant for his house.
Oh, no. I said there would have been a search warrant initiated, but that would be from Pennsylvania on the car in his parents' house. But it wouldn't be, this is from Washington, so this is only his apartment and office.
Oh, okay.
There's another warrant out. I don't think it's been unsealed yet for his car and the parents' house. They're not going to prepare him, no. It would have probably been executed immediately after his arrest.
Okay.
Because they had this all ready to go too. You know, this was done 12/29. Everything was done on 12/29.
Well, other than the hair strand, I'm not really seeing too much that, to give me any more kind of.
Well, the computer, this is the only thing that's, and the fire stick is the only thing that's holding out We'll hope if those hairs may come back to him. They may come back to somebody else. They, you don't know where they could come back to. And that possible animal hair could be to anybody. Who knows if somebody that works in that office with him doesn't have a dog or a cat or something, and he picked it up off the chair that was used, or it's possible he picked up someone's dog hair from a chair in the university. There's a lot of ways you could get somebody's animal hair on you. Yeah. So.
Now, what type of glove is that?
It's just a nitrile black glove, just one of like a surgical glove, and he could have those for many reasons. It doesn't look like it was used. I don't think he'd be stupid enough to leave. They don't say anything was tested on it, so it sounds like it was a new glove.
Yeah.
But maybe they're trying to match the same type to something else, or they just wanted to have it, because why would they have just one? Like, did he only have one left in his box of them, or I don't know. Kind of strange there with that. And the Marshall's receipts, 2 Marshall's receipts. And the Walmart receipt with the 1 Dickies tag. So,
Maybe one of them is for the hat, the mask.
maybe, but I thought that was more like a just like a surgical mask. Thank you, Mike, for the super chat. Trying to think here. Fire stick. Yeah, I don't see.
The blood must be his blood too, because he must have been bleeding somewhere for the blood to get on the mattress.
Unless he had 2 mattress covers, like one that zippers around the mattress, and then on top of that, like a quilted mattress cover. He might have, I don't know if it's like regular dorm rooms where your mattress is there. He could have been, if he was germaphobe or something, skeeved at the mattress and used a zippered, plastic waterproof cover on it. And then on top of that, put a mattress cover over that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A zippered one to encase the mattress. And then on top of that, because you don't want to be sleeping on plastic, one of the regular mattress covers, and it could be there was a stain on that went through and stained the plastic as well as the fabric mattress cover, and that's what it could be.
It could be his blood mixed with their blood also. That would be a treasure trove.
Yeah, but it could be, but it could just be from him too, even if it's from a wound. He could, how are they going to date that? He could say, that happened to me, I cut myself in the kitchen or something. So that's going to be a hard one. If it's his blood and it's his apartment, could have come through a number of different ways. So I don't
Is this all the evidence, or is there more?
Well, we don't know what they got out of his car or his parents' house.
Oh.
So when they've got the 1 possible animal hair strand, and then 8, 9, 10, and 11 are just listed separately as just 1 possible hair. Well, 8 through 10, and then 11 is 1 possible hair strand. So one's,
you know what? Because I think the 8 possible hair strands are something they found all together somewhere. Could be from the vacuum roller if they did it like that. Maybe they found 8 possible hair strands in the vacuum roller, and then the other ones were found throughout the apartment.
Let's see how they're referring to 1 animal hair strand, and then number 11 is 1 possible hair strand, but doesn't specify animal. And then the other ones listed there just say 1 possible hair.
Right.
They don't say the word strand.
Maybe it's just a piece of a very short hair, but not an animal hair or something, which would probably, I don't know, be from him more likely. But how?
I'm a little confused on that. Not the hair, the animal one, but how they specified on the other ones, where they just say 1 possible hair strand, and then the other 3 are 1 possible hair.
Right, and where the 1 collection of dark red spot, they don't say what that was collected. 1 collection of dark red spot. from where?
Yeah.
Collected without testing. Where
Yeah,
was
I
it?
don't know. Yeah.
On the couch? Was it, they don't say. Did you say dark red spot? Was it on the carpet?
Yeah.
Was it on the floor? Was it
Hopefully on an
Yeah.
article of clothing.
I don't know.
Hmm.
Dark red spot. It just seems like it would be.
That's
Okay,
splattered.
and on the uncased pillow, that one, B, larger stain was tested. So at C, one was tested there, and at B, the larger stain was tested. But of course, we don't know the results of those tests.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Because that's for the presumptive presence of blood, and then they'll say it's positive, and then they can see the DNA of it, of who it
And then
matched
the
to,
collection of the dark red spot, it specifies
without testing.
collected without testing.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
They wouldn't go by the location of where they found it.
Interesting. I don't know. I wonder when they will unseal the search warrants for Pennsylvania.
Yeah, that'd be.
Car in the parents' house, because what did he bring to the parents' house? Also, I guess if they found any other stuff in the garbage there, he wouldn't lay on the bed with murder clothes. No, I don't think he did. I think the chance of that is going to be in his car. But maybe he had some type of a tarp on the seat. And he quickly, when he took that little detour, what if he got out, stood on the tarp, took off all of his clothes, put on new clothes, threw the tarp away somewhere, and then where would he go for 5 hours to go get rid of the knife, to go get rid of, I don't know what else he would have gotten rid of other than the knife. You can browse on it just like a computer. Okay, thank you, Snow, on the Fire Stick. Forensically, is there a difference between hair? Yes, I believe the hair strand is the one that contains the whole follicle that you can test for DNA. If it doesn't have that, I don't think it can, but let me see. Let me do a little search here. Okay, let's see. So small, this data. So it says scientific basics for microscopic hair. Animal hairs. Hair identification is not employed solely by forensic scientists. Hair identification is an important tool used by wildlife, blah, blah, blah. Okay. It's important to note that although microscopic analysis and comparison of animal hairs can be conducted, the significance ascribed to an animal hair association often is less than that of human hair association. Accordingly, when an animal hair association is reported, the decreased significance must be highlighted. For example, in a report for a dog hair association, the FBI laboratory would use a statement similar to the following. It should be noted that dog hairs do not possess enough individual microscopic characteristics to associate a questioned hair to a particular dog, to the exclusion of other dogs of a similar breed. Despite the difference in the significance of animal hair comparisons to human hair comparisons, it does not detract from the potential usefulness in a forensic investigation. The presence of a dog hair on an item from the victim that can be microscopically associated with the known hair sample from the suspect's dog may be very important. Okay, and then it says,
As you said, Carolyn, you need to have the whole follicle to test the DNA. It can't just be a hair that's shed
right,
from a human or a dog. It had to
right.
be like plucked out.
Yeah, so when they say the strand, hopefully, yeah, let me see, they have some with the follicle. The length of the hair should be considered, keeping in mind that the hairs have been cut in the time between the deposition and the hair at the crime scene and the collection of the known sample. Let's see. Transfer and persistence of hairs. Hair collection. In order for hair evidence to be meaningful, the hair must not only be transferred, it must persist and be recovered as evidence. There are two distinct locations where evidence recovery typically occurs: at the crime scene and at the laboratory. Because of the potential loss of hair evidence, it is crucial that evidentiary items be collected as soon as possible, properly packaged. Okay, let's see.
When they do the car, there may be hair in the car because that's when he first came out of the house.
Yeah, but
So maybe
remember,
there's
he
hair.
cleaned like every inch of it, they said. Now, did he use his father's shop vac? But then his father was using that shop vac, so it doesn't look like they took it into evidence. What did he use to vacuum his car, I wonder?
Something in the house that he probably dumped.
I wonder if they took whatever he used, since they apparently observed him
Yeah.
cleaning the car. DNA analysis of hairs. Let's see. So I don't know. Of single dyed hair strand now possible. Forensic identification of single dyed hair strand now possible. A single strand of hair can make a huge difference in the evolution of a case or trial. It says, in crime scene investigations, a single strand of hair can make a huge difference in the evolution of a case or trial. In most cases, forensic scientists must look for clues hidden in minuscule amounts of substances or materials found at crime scenes. If a fallen strand of hair with root cells attached is found, a DNA test can reveal the identity of a criminal. Unfortunately, this seldom happens. Even though other types of DNA analysis can be conducted using the mitochondrial DNA embedded in the hair shaft itself, such tests are not sufficient to reliably identify a person and usually call for additional evidence. But what if a bit of fashion consciousness could inspire a new forensic technique? For a recent study published in blah, 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 scientists in Tokyo, developed a strategy for identifying criminals from a single strand of hair, leveraging the fact that hair dyes are becoming increasingly common. Oh, so that's through hair dye.
Did they find a hair dye? A
I'm
dyed hair?
just reading about nuclear, like this new nuclear thing to test for it.
Yeah.
Successful nuclear DNA profiling of rootless hair shafts. And it kind of explains, it's a really long article, but
Right. Yeah, there's a new forensic technique could have criminals and some prosecutors tearing their hair out. Let's see, it says they can identify a person from as little as 1 centimeter of a single strand of hair, and that it's 8 times more sensitive than similar protein analysis techniques. If the new method even makes it to the courtroom, it could greatly expand the ability to identify the people at a scene of the crime, but I don't know if they're utilizing that.
I don't know either. It just says these results demonstrate this nuclear DNA testing. These results demonstrate the ability of utilized methodologies to produce nuclear DNA results with high statistical power from rootless hair shafts. But we don't know what testing they've got, or, you know, or what they're doing there. But it's interesting, this nuclear DNA profiling.
Shooting on. Let's see. I don't know.
It would be great if they could tell if the hair was dyed, because I know Kaylee dyed her hair from dark, really dark, to blonde.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But, interesting. And let me just see something. Okay, let's see. Carbon County. Okay, let's see. This is bedding. Okay, authorities. What does this say? Police seize bedding from Idaho stabbing suspect's home. Investigators seized stained bedding, strands of what looked like hair, and a single glove, but no weapon. Investigators did not find anything noteworthy in Kohberger's office. Let's see here. Okay. So they're not. So it would be Carbon County that would have to unseal that search warrant. And I think the reason they probably, so many crazy things are coming up. People are saying about between the gag order and why they were sealing the search warrant and going crazy, and that there was another. There was an accomplice, and there was this, and there was that, and it was probably driving them nuts. But I think it's probably search warrant, Bryan Kohberger, let's see. That. Highly anticipated warrants contain new details about what investigators found. The warrants allege. Let's see who this is. I'm sure by now they have the DNA on the human and animal hair and know exactly where they came from, says Joseph Giacalone, a retired NYPD sergeant and adjunct professor at John Jay College of Criminal Justice. If those hairs came back to any victim or the dog, they hit the jackpot. He added that police had done an excellent job with the investigation and said that at this point, finding the murder weapon may not be necessary for a conviction. The only defense argument I can see to discredit the evidence is to say that it was transferred there by the police themselves, which of course depends on what substrate it was found on and if those cops were recently at the crime scene. Kohberger allegedly ambushed the 4 victims. Okay, let's see. So that's what that's important. And I think, let me see something. When they're coming down the stairs, we can't see their feet if they're wearing booties. But they're saying that if these people were at the crime scene or somebody was at the crime scene, they can say, oh, you might have transferred that dog hair in if it comes back that it was Murphy. And if one of those hairs comes back or multiple to the victims, the defense could say, oh, that was transferred here by investigators that were going between crime scenes, blah, 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 blah. Let's see. Is there anything else? Let me see something if I can find.
Yes, they may have an answer for everything, but the totality of the evidence might.
I wonder why they only took one glove.
Yeah,
That's weird.
Yeah.
Why would you just take one? I don't know.
Maybe they couldn't find the other one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, maybe there was just one. I don't know. Maybe, you know, and it's possible too. I don't know if his father slept at his apartment. I don't know if his family has a dog. I don't know that, but if his father was definitely, I'm sure, in his apartment before they left. And what if it's from their dog, or, you know, it could be from a lot of things.
Carolyn, do you think they would send a different group of police because they would know that he could say that it was transferred from one of the officers? So they would send somebody fresh?
I don't know. I don't know who was. Let me see here. Kohberger. Electronic court records. Let me see here. County.
What was the date on the warrant?
The 29th.
The 29th.
Yep. Please, okay. Look up department. Search court records. Oh, this is more like it, I think. Okay, property records, government. Court. Thanks. Okay. It's interesting. Government. Legal. Court. self-service. I'm just trying to search for something here. See for the. I don't think they have. Okay, let me see what they're saying on other things. Anybody wants to call in, let me know, because I can't see the chat. Now, just so you know that ex-FBI agent, her response to this was, so much anticipated is missing. So let's see if she says what she anticipated. Someone said, I don't see anything that would jeopardize the investigation. Is it me that's confused?
Oh, no.
So she was the one that said that this was sealed because there was an accomplice and all of this. So now it's been called BS on that because that was never the case. So now she's just saying it's missing. See, she doesn't say she's wrong. She says it's missing. Okay, that's crazy. Because she misled everybody to believe that it was sealed because there was an accomplice and they couldn't let that out. That's really crappy. Let's see. Missing. Oh my gosh. Okay. Let's see what they're saying over here. Somebody else. Let's see what's going on here. This would be.
I'll just keep an eye on the chat, see if anybody
All right,
says they're
thanks.
gonna call in, okay?
Okay, thanks. Let's see here. Go to this, I think. Let's see. Thought we're taking a few days off. I was, but how does he have the victim's blood possibly on his bed, or could this relate to another crime? Is this actually confirmed? People thought this was fake. It was so funny today because something real and they thought was fake, and they were on and all over saying that this was fake. Somebody said there's no way he's gone to bed dripping in their blood. So this is strange. I'm more interested in knowing what's on his computer, the Dickies tag, potential black clothing. Now that he's thrown away, receipts without the clothing would be an odd thing to have. Let's see what I've got here. Interesting. I would have
Carolyn.
expected more. Yeah.
Oh, sorry,
That's-
Nikki Nick asked for you to please send a Zoom link.
Oh, okay. Thanks. Let me do that. Okay, 1 second. Okay, and let's see here. Nikki Nick. It's refreshing. I don't have. I want to see. I think I have your thing. Hopefully I can. Yeah.
She said she's at work and it's too hard to
Yeah.
type. So,
Okay. I sent it
and
to
it
you.
is.
Okay. See if anybody else on here before I go back. Yeah, I think that's okay. Let me pull up the search warrant again in case anybody has any.
Talking about that guy in New York
Oh, okay.
that killed his wife and dismembered her and all.
No,
What's the name?
Massachusetts, you mean?
Yeah, Massachusetts, I think.
Okay. So let's see. Go back to where it was here. So we took pillowcases and mattress covers when he left the crime scene. No, that's not what they're saying. It's interesting to see how people interpret stuff. It doesn't have to be blood. It could be spilled drinks, food, Let's see. Seems inconceivable that Kaylee's dog hair could be there 6+ weeks after the fact. If this were a child or Bosch tail, we'd all say the smoking was lame and ludicrous. What does it mean when they say they collected without testing versus larger stain tested? Does that mean they are going to test it? Just haven't yet. Hey, Nikki.
Hey guys.
Hi. What do you think about what they collected?
I am not too surprised. It's a little underwhelming. But I didn't expect, for them to find, a knife, a bloody outfit. He knows better. Like you said, I think he prepared his car. I think he shed a lot of the items before he went home, because we know that he drove the sort of quote unquote long way home after the homicides. And so it'll be interesting though to see what they find on his digital devices, because really all we know is they got his computer tower, right? I think that was the only, in the Fire Stick thing, television.
Right, yeah. I just tried to see that they called this a nitrite type blood instead of nitrile.
Oh yeah. Nitrite isn't that's like a an agent, like something that explodes, like sodium nitrite, it's a nitrile glove, right?
Right.
Yeah, with an L is what I thought.
Yeah. I noticed too that they corrected their mistake. It said Washington. I think it said Johnson, Washington this time in that in the warrant when you were reading it. Remember they said Johnson, Idaho in the probable cause. It was really repetitive, right? Like the whole document was super repetitive. But yeah, I'm glad it was unsealed and a little bit more info.
Mm-hmm.
Carolyn, could they still have more information that's still sealed or no?
Oh, well, we don't know what they have that they got out of his car or his parents' house yet.
But that's everything in the apartment, in his apartment?
Yeah.
I wonder if there'll be Pennsylvania search warrants, because his car was in PA, right?
Right, yeah, that's what I was checking for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought Pennsylvania, I read something about Pennsylvania not being quite open with their, they don't do a lot of sealing of documents, but maybe because of the gag order, maybe they did.
I expect people are going to be asking about the search warrant of the car and the house. Let's see.
They didn't say much about the office, did they? Other than
they did. Well,
got a
they
warrant.
didn't find anything really. Search warrant.
Yeah. And sharing it with two other people, there's a lot of, I don't know how big of an office it is, but if he's sharing it with two other people, he's only there probably a short amount of time. So, and he probably just brings his laptop or something.
Yeah.
But they didn't mention a laptop, did they?
That's why I'm saying that may be at the parents' house.
He's at home. Yeah, I bet you he took it home.
Yeah.
Was it about an hour or so to get home, or they don't know?
What do you mean?
For him to, from the time he left the house,
4:17.
get home, was it like an hour?
Yeah.
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 He took the long way. So
Yeah.
he went south, and then he went west, and then he decided then to go north. So he sort of made like a U. He went down, then over, and then up, rather than just going, over. And he went down into more rural communities. That's why they surmised in the probable cause affidavit that there was probably reasoning for that, right? I mean, it's not like he was like taking a Sunday drive for the hell of it.
Maybe he dumped the murder weapon. Maybe he dumped the knife somewhere.
Right, and then he went back later in the day, like around 5 o'clock. Remember when they said he turned his phone off at like 5 something? He went back in that area and then turned his phone off for 3
Ooh.
hours. So
Ooh.
that's why I think he probably disposed of it in a temporary location just to get, just to take all of his clothes off, wrap it up in a tarp perhaps, and stash it behind, I don't know, like a building, some whatever, pick a building, right? And then he comes back later to really dispose of it. That's my thought pattern. And that's why he turned his phone off for 3 hours, because he doesn't want anybody to know where he went to dispose of his killer kit. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, that sounds good.
I wonder where.
Makes sense.
I also wonder about with the cell towers, do they have really good, like, how you can hit black spots, I wonder if they have any of those where he went at all. How
Yeah, they can tell, but you know what? I did read about this. They can tell the difference between somebody dropping due to coverage versus somebody turning their phone into airplane mode or turning the phone off. They can tell the difference between those two types of an event. And I didn't quite understand the technicalities of how, but they can, because I was thinking the same thing. He could say, "Oh, I just must have been sitting in my car for 3 hours in this like zone where there's no coverage," but they would be able to tell that.
Yeah.
I still think
it's amazing how much you learn when you're researching these cases, right? It's like all these little tidbits of like crazy information.
Things
like
never even thought
I know, like what's the difference between hair and a hair strand? Like, I don't think I couldn't find anything.
I know.
Oh my
In my opinion, I still think he dumped the knife in that park, the reserve area where he went. He buried it somewhere. That's what I think.
What park? That the arbor.
When he went to the forest area with the streams and the lakes.
He never went out that way. You mean the one that said like where he went to Johnson, Idaho?
No, he went into some forest area.
Yeah, remember when he was?
But that's the one that was the mistake. It's
No, not that. Remember after Albertsons when he was gone for 5 hours?
Yeah.
Well, in that area, if you could go anywhere off there, there's a lot of.
Right, but that's what I'm saying is that was the mistake. It was Johnson. So remember it said Johnson, Idaho, and we looked at it, and it was sort of 3 hours away or 2 hours away, and it was like a nature preserve.
Right, that. But if you look at the area Albertsons is in, that he was in, and you go around there's a lot of.
Oh, sure. I mean, it's
so we don't. They don't tell us where his phone was from after he left. After they have him at Albertsons at 1:04 until 5:36. That's the next time they tell us he shut his phone off. But we don't know where he shut his phone off at 5:36.
Right, and we don't know what he did between 1:04 and 5 o'clock.
Right.
Could have went home and ate.
He could have went home, or he could have stayed in the area, or he could have went somewhere else where they don't want to tell us right now. We don't know.
Yeah, because he really didn't have much sleeping time, and I'm assuming, because he was up all night killing people, and then at 9 o'clock he's back at the crime scene, and then at 1 o'clock he's at Albertsons buying something. So I'm thinking, like, I'm trying to think, did he go home and maybe he's all high on adrenaline and perhaps he didn't need to take a nap. I would need a nap after all that, right? Like, all that killing and running around.
Maybe he was too scared to sleep. Maybe he had it on his mind that he might get caught, and he was very anxious and worried.
Yeah, that's true. He freaked out.
Trying to see if
they cut off the data collection on that warrant, right, on the day after, right? Didn't they say November 14th?
Yeah.
In what you just read. I
Yeah.
wonder why they didn't go longer, because usually.
I know, right? While he was
if
at the
it's so-
apartment, I would have done it right up to the day he left that apartment for.
Right, because I want to see how many times is he checking Facebook, how many times is he checking.
But I guess once they get the computer, they can, and they have the computer,
That-
they can
yeah,
extend,
true that.
ask for an extension on that.
Yeah, and that's what they'll probably do, because that's what they did with the cell phone as well. They did
Right.
it very limited, and then they expanded it out. So yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Correct.
Maybe they can tell that if he was Papa Rogers or not.
Perhaps, right?
Yeah. Or if he called into that other radio show. I think that was debunked though.
Trying to see if they can. I wonder about the. Let me see what else they're saying here. Let's see. They said judge should just release the gag order. And so discussing what it means. Okay, let me see what they're saying over here. Possible here. Does that mean I can't believe they published his full phone number? Oh, I'm sure that phone has been turned off. I'm sure 90,000 people have called it, right? Has anybody called it in the chat? Ask them. Has anybody? Have any of you called Brian's number in the chat? Has it been disconnected?
I could give it a call. What's the number? You know it right offhand?
He not home.
I'm sure.
I wonder if you get his voicemail. Hi, this is Brian.
Yeah, I'm
Sorry,
sure
I
it's-
can't answer your phone. I'm in jail.
For life.
sure it's been.
That's not uncommon, though. I've seen plenty of other times where they've published full.
Oh yeah, they put
Phone
his
numbers.
on the cell phone with the number 509. What is that? 50592-8458. Right.
What was the area code?
509.
Where is that? I know you can get a cell phone anywhere. I'm just wondering what that area is. That Pennsylvania? Doesn't sound it to me.
No, that sounds like it's funny because they said he got it in June.
Yeah.
So did he go out to Idaho in June? I don't know.
Didn't he start his program in July? He could have moved. I mean, he certainly
They
could
said
have
that
relocated.
the cell phone was June 23rd.
Let me see. What is the area code by the way?
I believe that is
And when you
Washington.
get a cell phone, you could pick really any. You don't have to get a phone number associated with your where you're buying it, where you're purchasing the phone. You can get it any area code. All right. Anybody call it yet?
Is it 509-750-8295?
It's right up on the screen. Yeah, it should be right up on the screen there.
I'm not on the screen. I'm on the Zoom
Oh.
screen. I'll call it. What is it?
All right.
What is it?
509.
Huh?
I'll ready to get ready. 509.
Huh?
And then 592 8458.
Sure, it's disconnected.
Wait a second.
I mean, he's been arrested.
To edit this, I have the wrong number.
I'm sorry, the number you've reached has been disconnected.
Okay, Nikki, I'm sorry. Say it one more time. 509
592
592.
8458.
Okay, here we go.
Can you have it, let us hear it?
Mailbox belonging to
Safe.
095928458 is full and cannot accept new.
You bet it is full.
Oh my
Right?
gosh. Yeah, everybody and their brother's been calling.
Yeah.
Okay.
I wonder if you set up his voicemail. I wonder if we could. We shouldn't do that though. I was going to say we could call and see if we could check his messages, but
Let's see.
because a lot of people don't set up their. That's actually for anybody who cares. If you never set up your voicemail, like Verizon has like a password that like I think it's like 1, 2,
Okay,
3,
I don't
4,
know if we
something.
should, I don't know if we should do that, no, I don't think so.
Exactly. I'm like,
Yeah.
maybe I had a devious mind there for a
Yeah,
moment.
I don't think so.
But yeah,
We're not
that would-
advocating that, and any hate mail should be directed to
Do not do
twoscooterchick
that.
at
No, I'm saying for
gmail.com.
your own purposes, like your own
the,
phone. Like if you never set up your, if you never
yeah,
set up your
but I
voicemail.
don't think we should say that here. I really don't, because I don't want to get in trouble. I don't think we should.
No.
And the views of the people on the panel do not necessarily reflect those of Mommy Ramblings blog, who would never advocate for you to do anything illegal or hack anything. Thank you. Okay. Let's see. So they're saying what I'm just wondering if nobody's even asking about. I'm just seeing if anybody was asking about the search warrant in Pennsylvania, and I don't see them asking anything about the search warrant. Let's see.
So
Hi, Shadowland.
metadata is just more information about the data. Say if files have been like changed or something like that, right?
Yeah, and on pictures too. It's
Yeah.
it describes the given information about examples of metadata. Could be
Yeah.
when it was created, when it was modified, the file size, the author, stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, of course
Descriptive,
they would do
administrative,
that. I
and
guess that
structural
would be-
data about some type of file.
Yeah.
Let's see. Right. Let's see. Just trying to see what you guys are saying in the chat. Hi, Liz Tabs. Toothbrush and hairbrush would have his DNA. They were looking for the. Yeah. Well, there were 3 search warrants executed in Pennsylvania. One for his DNA, one for the car, one for the house. Date of the arrest warrant was 12/29 as well. All of this was done 12/29. Let's see. Always believed Ellie is holding more evidence. Well, we haven't seen their evidence from the house, his house. I'm sure he had a laptop. I'm sure he had at least a tablet, but I imagine he had a laptop. And it was at the parents' house. He grabbed everything he used to clean his car. He dumped it in the trash bins. Yes, they got that, cleaning supplies and stuff like that. But what about the vacuum that he used to clean his car? His father was seen using a shop vac afterwards. Is that what he used or what? I don't know. Let's see. The A1 collection dark red spot could be rich with evidence. It's a collection, but we don't know what or how many pieces of evidence are in said collection, says Glenn Jamin. Yeah, okay. I'm sure they found evidence in his office at the school. No, I don't think they found evidence. You have to remember that's a shared office by 3 people. And I don't think they had a main computer in there, so they would have brought their laptop in there, which they wouldn't leave in there, obviously. And if you didn't leave any notes or anything like that, they probably sweep it clean after each person. So they're not going to find much in there. And if they found, hairs in a university office with people coming and going in and out of it, could be numerous. So I don't know. I don't think that was.
Do you guys have any idea why they would list the hairs separately like they did? Do you think it's when they collected them?
Found in
they
different
collected them?
locations, probably, different sizes,
Right.
different, yeah.
Yeah. Because it's not like they did any analysis of it. It's not like they're like, oh,
No,
we'll just scoop up these brown hairs and call them all one, group the hair. But that's what I figured. It was
no,
probably
they
collected
could,
in
the
different
8 hairs
locations.
could have been found from the vacuum, because they mentioned it right before. the container of the vacuum, so maybe they were found in the roller, I don't know. Maybe they were found somewhere when they took the, in the vacuum somehow, but I just don't know why they didn't take the entire vacuum.
Yeah, right, because a lot of times the roller and
The roller could still have like minute things in
Yeah.
there, and you could
That's-
blow it
that's
out,
true.
in the, like the whole, all the tubes and stuff throughout there, they all collect stuff with static electricity, and there's,
they really didn't take a whole lot. Like,
no.
I mean, like they didn't, things like.
And they only found 3 receipts in there that they took. I
Yeah.
mean, I don't know what they found other receipts and they just weren't relevant, or they weren't in the date range. Maybe they took those because it shows him shopping during those date ranges or after, or purchasing something that looks suspect, maybe like a hoodie or I don't know. And the Dickies, what was that? Was it Dickies pants? Were they trying to see if he still has them, if he just bought them? Why does he have the tag? And I think they kept the tag to say if he was going to say, oh, no, I returned them without the tag. I don't know. It's just what kind of Walmart.
And he
Dickies
moved there,
men,
what,
let's see.
how long ago was that? We said maybe July, maybe, right? He was there
Uh-huh.
for the start of school, so what is that, July, August, September, October, November? So he's been there 6 months. So he may not have a ton of, he might be kind of a minimalist type of guy too, he just might not have a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I just
Right.
think about my house, I'm like, my God, they would there's a million things. They would
Oh my
probably-
gosh, they would be here months in my house. Is this
that's what
receipt
I'm
right?
saying, like,
Is this
just
receipt
a-
good? Is this, where is this? Yeah.
Like,
So a Dickies tag is a name brand?
Yeah,
or
yeah,
what?
it's a name
Okay.
brand of, I'm just looking. Yeah, so it's from
a lot of
Walmart,
construction guys
where
wear
they
like
have,
Dickies.
shirts, they have
Oh.
shirts, pants, they have belts, they also have long sleeve
Coveralls.
pullovers, yeah. Crew socks, they also make socks, Dickies, let's see. Jackets,
Ah,
hoodies, they have hoodies, I'm looking right on the Walmart site under
They're
Dickies.
kind of known to be like more durable, like
Yeah,
and
like
more,
work stuff, yeah. Denim, black, khaki. Let's see, they do have coveralls. He could have wore a set of coveralls. They have black coveralls. Maybe he just wore a set of that. That could be what the Dickies tag is. Let's see.
let me ask this question. I'm
Hi,
so
Janet.
confused, but
Hi.
why don't they have any, or maybe they do, any evidence of his footprints outside of the, they mentioned the one footprint in front of the girl's door.
Right.
But how did I'm just trying to think, did
Just
he
one
have
footprint and not
movies,
another
or-
throughout the kitchen or
what did
anything.
he left, obviously went outside, there's no, but maybe there is, they didn't have to say in the
Right.
affidavit, right? They could have,
Right, yeah.
held that back.
Hmm.
Cause I'm just thinking of him dripping of blood,
Exactly. And they also have Dickies shoes, I believe. Let me see here. So, but they're saying that it was a
like a
Vans.
boot.
Now, could he have bought the Vans in Marshalls? I wonder. That might be. I
Yeah,
wonder if
yeah.
there's a receipt for Vans that he bought in Marshalls. Let's see if Marshalls.
I'm not sure what snow remover's asking. She said no one is answering her, but I wasn't looking at the chat.
I'm sorry,
first.
I'm not looking at the chat either. Let me see.
Oh, I can watch it. I've done my job.
Or a
work.
black
I
neck
wasn't
thing that
looking
pulls
at,
over
but
the
then I
face.
just
Oh,
walked
yeah,
away
he
for
could
a
have bought a
second.
black, yeah. Is that what you're asking, a black neck thing that pulls over the face? Yeah, he could have bought that. It could be on the receipt.
Oh, what are those things called? A balaclava,
A baklava.
balaclava? Yeah, I've seen it. We just call them a neck warmer, or a,
That's the only thing I see for you, snow remover. Hold on. Would a hair or a hair strand be different? Yeah, without a root. Yes, I did answer that earlier, Snow. Yes, it would be definitely different. And just answered Mike. I said a whole lot of BS, no problem. Sorry guys, I was looking at another thing. I was trying to see what I could find. Mike says I have 2 wet vacs, small and large. Never know what they might have took. Yeah, exactly. But how would they? Yeah, I guess they would have seen him. Maybe he was using a dustbuster. I don't know what he was using. You'd think he. 509 is Spokane. Thank you, Jeff. If you have something to say and you're not, yeah, I googled hair and hair strand, and the strand is not only thin but long. Okay, thanks. You could always come up on panel. Yes.
What do you think is the most damning piece of evidence that was disclosed today?
I don't know.
Or one or two pieces?
I don't know, because we don't know what is on the Walmart or the Marshall's receipts. If they are shoes that would match, like if they're like a, I don't know what, if say, let's just say it's a size 12 Vans that the footprint is of, and he bought a size 12 Vans,
Okay.
you know, then that would be pretty coincidental, right? It's circumstantial evidence, but is it the exact shoe? Is he
Right.
the only one that bought those shoes? Is that, you know, they could always argue that. We don't know what he bought with the Dickies tag. Is it a pair of coveralls? Being that they have the tag there, they could ask him, where are the coveralls?
Yeah.
If they were coveralls. So that, all that we don't know yet. And like, we don't know what's in the vacuum dust container. We don't know what those hair strands or hairs match. We don't know what those stains are. We don't know what's on the computer or the Fire Stick, all of that.
Okay.
But yeah, I believe Marshall's does sell Vans, so that could be something that they've also found. And the Albertsons receipt, whatever he bought in there, that receipt could be in his car maybe, or in the garbage that he put in the neighbor's garbage.
And
What
we
else?
also don't know the results of those
Right,
2 things that they tested. We don't know that.
right, yes. Let's see.
I kind of think the fact of how little they found is sort of the interesting point, because, like I said, I just think that he probably was just so knowledgeable not to make common mistakes like run home with bloody clothing, right? Like, I just think that, you know, I don't think we're gonna even. I imagine even his computer isn't going to contain a whole lot. But he did screw up with the phone, so maybe he did screw up a little bit with his computer. But we'll have to wait to see on that.
Mm-hmm.
But
And I mean, if he was looking up, like, have they caught, see, the other thing is, if he was looking up, like, have they caught the Idaho suspect, do they have leads, he could just say, on that part alone, my gosh, don't you think I'm nervous about that? Right?
Right,
I
right.
have to go back there. If that's what he was searching on, like, his laptop, they could just say, anybody that had to go back to, you know, either WSU or Idaho, they're searching
right,
about
like
that. They're
everybody's
searching for,
searching.
look,
Yeah.
we were all
If you
searching,
pulled,
right? Yeah.
Right. If you pulled 80 people, I bet 79 of them were looking at
Right,
almost the same
right.
things, right?
Yeah.
You know.
Exactly. So, but I mean, if that's coupled with other stuff, like, you know,
Yeah.
best way to leave a crime. And again, because he has that survey
Yeah,
that he
his-
put out, a lot of the stuff he could put out that he was saying he was researching for paper he's writing, or he's, you know, so, yeah, I don't.
Yeah, he could explain away
A lot of it he could explain away, and it could just give them reasonable doubt. You know, I
I'm
don't
sure
know.
they'll use it. It's very smart of you to think of that. Yeah.
Yeah, someone was saying, I forget who it was, all the evidence that can be debunked and how it can be debunked.
Right. And who's
By
to
the-
say he's not going to even say, well, my gosh, having a case like that right here, I thought it would be a great example to use about crime scenes and to really get into that and investigate it the same way that we were, right?
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? He could say that I was talking about it with friends, I was in a message group with friends, we were talking about it amongst, my whatever, and I was just researching it. I don't know.
Yeah, the most damning evidence to me, other than the DNA, right, on the sheaths of the knife sheaths that he left behind, is the phone and car traveling together. Because that shows it's not just the car traveling, it's not the phone traveling, but the fact that both of those things paired together, moving, being at the scene of the crime, leaving the scene of the crime, going back to it. I
Right.
think that's pretty damning.
Yeah.
You
Right. And what was I going to say about something?
And
Oh,
it shows
I think the most
time.
damning searches would be before the murders happened.
yeah.
Those would be the most damning searches.
Now, let me ask you guys this. Do you think they will find any information about the victims? Like, did he know these people, or did he just see did he just see the house one night and just decide that he didn't like them? Like, or do you think he researched them?
Right, and that would be another thing. If he was stalking them or doing anything on the computer, that
Looking
would
at
be
them.
more telling than like a lot of searches that he did afterwards. So it's stuff before
Right,
the murders happen
right.
that are going to be the most.
Yeah, because he has no business or no need to know these people, right? It's not like he's in class with them. He didn't grow up with them. So, if they find that.
Debbie Dahl, do you see right up there where it says items seized? It says all items seized from residence, not from the office. So the other glove that you're saying in here, you said they found and took the other glove during the search of his apartment. This is the search of his apartment. This is what they seized, and it is one glove. I don't know where you're going with the other glove. This doesn't even have to be a used glove. This is probably a brand new glove. Not sure what you're doing, but this is the search of the apartment. This is not the office. Okay. He might have Googled the murders a lot, but I guess we all do. Yeah, I think it would be mostly Snow what happened beforehand. What he was doing beforehand. If he was doing any searches on their names beforehand, if he was looking any of the people up beforehand, if he was trying to find out their schedules, if he was putting in stuff about that house, that 1122, if he was looking up that real
Floor
estate,
plan.
the floor
Yep.
plan and all of that, that would be very crucial. But I don't think so much was after, because he could explain that away like he was looking it up like anybody was.
You know what else I think is damning? Is that when they put out when they issued that, hey, we're looking for the white Elantra, he
Right.
didn't turn himself in, right? He didn't self-report, which
No.
I think,
No, because
Right, and he should have.
but he's going to say I didn't self-report because my vehicle did not fall within that year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
do that, right?
You
But
know?
I know, but you would
And
think
he's going to say I didn't report my vehicle because I knew I wasn't there. So you said, I wasn't in the area, so why would I say that?
It's-
There's so many white
yeah.
Elantras. I wouldn't want to bother you guys when you have all this stuff to deal with.
They did say though that they expanded the date range, but did they ever publish
No, they
that
never
to the
published it. No.
public? Yeah,
No.
that's bad on them.
No, it's not. You see, they didn't want to do that because they didn't want to tip him off.
Oh, I
did it
see,
for
I
a
see.
reason.
So
They
they were
held it.
like, I got ya. It was later. Okay, so it was later in the time frame.
No, they never let it out. Never
Yeah.
until after he was arrested.
Yeah.
People think it was a mistake. It wasn't a mistake. They purposely kept it back. They didn't want to tip him off. They were giving him enough rope to hang himself.
So do you think that they knowingly issued the dates wrong
Yeah.
in the beginning?
No, I think they knowingly issued the dates the way they did for a reason. They didn't want to tip him off. They had it out there, and then the guy said, "Oh, here, like they've got a Kohberger. This is what he's got." And now we're saying that that car that the guy's looking at could actually be a later model. But if we release this now, and we know that it's probably have our guy here, we might tip him off. He might get rid of the car.
Right, but they would have him under surveillance. I would have. The only reason I say this is I would have been interested to see if he self-reported. Because to me, like the fact that he's a criminology PhD student, he's aware of what's going on. Like everybody in the nation, is aware that we're looking for a white Elantra, and it's
Right.
just strange that
Yeah, but I don't think they wanted to tip him off. They could think this guy is extremely dangerous. He just killed 4 people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot. There's. I just would have been interested. You know what though? I'm putting myself in. I don't care if I had a white Elantra that I just bought yesterday, brand new off the dealer floor. I would still go to police and be like, I have a white Elantra. It's not within the year range, but I'm just letting you know. You need to look at it.
But-
Like I would just. You know what I mean?
But that's not what they wanted, though. They wanted one that was in the area. So they didn't want everybody to report their Elantra. They wanted the one that was in the area. If you were in the area with that white Elantra, not that
Okay,
you
right,
have a white
right.
Elantra.
Right. So
So
the
he
simple fact that
would
I
have no
own one.
business reporting it because he's not going to say he's in the area the night of the murders. So yeah, they don't want to tip him off. That's yeah. Tend to say the guy was not.
So yes, I think it was a
Highland D. Raby.
Well, what
ex-detective.
William said isn't really true because it didn't take them 2 months to test the stains. We just don't know the results, right?
Right.
Yeah, because William's saying it took 2 months to test the stains, but
First
I
of
don't
all,
see
wait
where
a
it
second,
says
William.
that.
This was only executed December 30th. It's not even January 30th.
20 days ago.
So this is, first of all, you're way off on the 2 months. Okay, and they probably have them since they got the DNA test back from the garbage within 1 day. I'm sure they have all of this back there. They're not releasing that to us. We don't have to know that. We're not privy to know that. That's part of their case.
Yeah, and all that's required for the search warrant kind of process, right, is they have to provide an inventory of what was taken,
Yes.
not an inventory of what was taken and tested and what was, like, all that will come out
But we don't know the results of the
way,
test, you
way,
mean,
way.
yeah.
Right, like, just like they did
Right.
the computer. We don't know
Right.
anything
We
about
don't know what was searched
what's in
for
it,
on the
on
computer.
it,
We
right.
don't even have the unsealed search warrants from
Probable.
Pennsylvania.
That's true, right. We know nothing. We just know general.
We don't know
So,
what
yeah,
stains they got out of his car. We don't know what testing that's been done on his car. We don't know what they found in his parents' house. We don't know what they took as far as electronics out of the parents' house. We don't know anything like that.
Do we know if they transferred the car back to Washington or Idaho
No.
area?
Mm-mm.
We don't know that. So it could be in Pennsylvania still, or it could have been put on a flatbed and, moved. We just don't know where it's at.
No. No.
I think
Imagine though if they did the search warrant in PA would probably.
Oh, definitely
know.
did. They definitely had to do the search warrant, just like how they had to do it here in Washington, and it's only 10 miles.
Right, so I'm saying that they would probably have to do they would have to probably execute the actual searching of the vehicle then, if they executed the search warrant in Pennsylvania.
Yeah,
So,
in
yeah.
conjunction with the other agencies.
Yeah, FBI and,
Yeah.
I think we really need to find more DNA because that person I was listening to said the DNA evidence could be easily debunked by saying that the lab messed up. So if it's that one piece of DNA only,
Right,
That
but
would've-
see,
that
that's why they were saying, even with the search warrant, they were already saying don't grant this search warrant based on that DNA evidence of that sheath or whatever. Base it on the other stuff, because of exactly how DNA can be. There's so many things they can say. You know, that was planted,
Yeah.
that was an error, that was this, that was that. So they don't want it relying only on that DNA.
I think they'll probably find more DNA.
In different
it's really
spots.
hard. Yeah, it's really hard to not. I mean,
With all the
unless he had wrapped himself in, you know, if he had multiple pairs of gloves, even that though, you touch the gloves. You know what I mean? Like, it's strange, right? Like, you take a glove out of a box, right?
Right, and you touch the other box,
Positive
the other
your
glove,
DNA on the glove. So the fact that you've done that alone, it does, you know.
Yeah, you could say, I use it to clean my toilet.
Yeah.
I use those, of course I touch those gloves. Of course I have nitrile gloves in my house.
Right. I mean, it's not uncommon to find it. I mean, I'm sure that we probably have them in my
Not at
house.
all.
know
I
that-
have boxes of nitrile gloves in
For
my house.
cleaning,
Boxes.
yeah,
I
I know
have
that
them
we
in my
use them.
car when I pump gas. Yeah, I have them all
Oh,
over.
especially with COVID, he could, you
Yeah,
know.
I have
that's another-
masks, gloves, all over. Wipes of all kinds, alcohol wipes, all kinds.
I know, clean all sorts of hand sanitizers.
Yeah,
and-
yeah.
They didn't say they found any masks, though, did they? No, they because you know they
No,
just
they
said that
didn't
he
talk
was
about
wearing
any clothing
Nothing.
found at all.
That's why I think he disposed of it. I don't. I think it's long gone. He may have burned it, or he may have just thrown it away. It could be in a.
That wasn't the
Landfill.
microwave video reel. That was actually the oven. Let's see. In one way, he might have been disappointed that there wasn't another way. He wanted to think he was important. I'm not sure. I don't.
So some cars, but maybe not his, like, okay, say he took an hour to get home from the house
All the time.
and he did that long, you know, route around.
Yeah.
Now some cars will have something on their computer thing that'll say when you even roll a window down, or when you stop, or when
Right.
you.
Yeah, GPS, or I think
anything
even with the
like that.
Bluetooth enabled or something. Yeah.
Yeah, because do you remember Barry? If you guys read the Barry Morphew case data,
Yeah.
they basically knew down to the second every time he like pressed.
Oh
the-
yeah,
you know,
because
the
like if you
unlock button
have
when
right,
you-
if you
when
have
touch the
navigation,
pedal.
yes,
Yeah.
it tells you that. But it also, I think, if you have navigation in your car,
Yeah.
and I don't know if he did, but like I do. Okay, so if I go to a place and then I want to search for something, it'll say, do I want to search it by its name, or do I want to search it by the location I'm in? It knows right where I am.
What year was this car? What one was it?
He had a what was it, a 2015?
Yeah, I think. But
Because
so
I bet
he-
it did have navigation, and I don't even know if you know how things are sometimes like trim levels, but I think anymore that stuff is almost a standard, you know, like a reversing camera, and like I have a RAV4 from 2015 and it has navigation in it. We never use it, of course, because
Yeah,
We
I don't
like,
think
you
I
know,
don't
use
think
our
it's a
phones
standard
better.
on all things, but I think more and more that Bluetooth and everything is pretty much standard.
Yeah.
So I don't know what
So
his
if
car.
he stopped in say in that hour or whatever it was, it would show that he stopped and his location
I don't
where
know.
he would have stopped.
I don't know. I
It
don't know.
will-
With
it
a
might not
Hyundai,
show
I mean, a
location.
Hyundai isn't like a high-end car,
Yeah.
so I don't know what
That's
kind of
true.
stuff it would have on it.
But if he
Yeah.
sat there and he was idling, or you know, if he just left his car idling, or if he turned the car, you know, on and off a bunch of times, they could tell that. You know, they can because the car's computer holds that data.
What if they do find in the car blood with luminol? They put luminol in the car and they find a lot of blood. They can't test that. They can't test it for DNA, right? Because he washed
What'd you
it.
say?
Yeah, if they found stains, big stains in there, they could.
Oh, sure. Not even big. They don't need
Like on
much
the
anymore.
door. Like I mean on the door, the steering wheel, that's just like a surface where you would need to have gotten it fresh, don't you think?
No, they could take a microscope, even if a little bit of dried blood was on the console of his, you know, of the shifter or something like that.
Uh-huh.
They, in plenty of cases, they've gotten DNA from dried or old DNA, like older DNA that they
Okay.
found. Yeah, so they don't need that much. It's really, yeah, it doesn't have to be fresh or anything. It doesn't have, yeah.
Oh, good, good.
Let's see.
Okay, sorry. I had
Do you
to
think it was a coincidence that he changed his license plate, like because his, you know, we know
No,
that he did
because it
because
said
his
they
thing
were
was
due
running
to
out.
expire November 30th.
Right. But do
Yeah.
you think that he was like, or do you think he was like, oh, bonus, like I get to change my license plate too? I kind of think that's probably what it was. I don't think that he waited.
Yeah.
Because I was wondering, like, was he like, oh, I feel like killing these people in September, but maybe I'll wait till November until my plates are expiring. I doubt it. I think he probably was just.
But when you
Cool.
change your plates, you don't have to change the number.
Yeah,
Right?
if you're in a different state, it's going to give you a different number unless you have like a vanity plate
Vanity,
and
yeah.
and it was available there. But yeah, it's going to be a different number because some of them, you know, you can't have the same number for your plate. A PA plate is not going to, you're not going to be able to get that in over there.
Oh, he changed from PA to Washington.
Right.
Yeah, because his
Oh.
registration ran out at the end of whatever in November, so he changed them in accordance to, you know.
He had to register the car there, and he had a Washington license. So
License, yeah.
wonder when he did that and changed that over. We don't know. Let's see. Let me see. I'm just wondering why nobody's asking about the Pennsylvania search warrants.
Maybe they were not thinking.
Because that's the car and his, I mean, I think those are gonna have more, I think. I mean,
Yeah.
to see what was left in the car and,
see what he was throwing away at 4 o'clock in the morning in the neighbor's trash. That will be interesting because that really shows evidence of culpability or guilt, right? Like who's going to throw away something in the neighbor's trash can at, you know, some weird time, you know, so they probably gathered that. And they don't have to get a warrant for that garbage, for collecting the garbage. So we might not even, do we know that they collected it for sure? The garbage that he threw out?
yeah, they collected it.
They did, yeah, but they didn't say what it was, right?
No.
Yeah, I figured not.
Let's see what they did here. Let me see. What does this say?
Was it just one neighbor that you threw away stuff in?
One, yes, it looks, yeah.
Yeah.
Because the neighbors, I mean, the houses are not close together, so.
Yeah. Yeah, I was gonna
Yeah.
say, it's not like it was a mistake. It wasn't like, oh, our trash cans are so close together that I just whoopsie. No, he had to like literally walk to.
Yeah, I saw that part about that, yeah.
Let me see here. What's this? The apartment. I'm just trying to see if there's anything. And then they've also got Brian Walsh, who entered not guilty plea for the murder of his wife. Yeah, not guilty. Let's see. Oh my goodness, hold on. Here. Anyway. Why do they typically? Some people ask the most stupid questions I've ever seen. They literally cannot ever follow a true crime case. Or think that, like, somebody is going to be able to give them the answer to the questions they're asking. Like,
Well, Snow said that maybe the animal hair I didn't know there were skinned dogs that were found around the town. I didn't know about that.
the what? The animal hair? What?
Snow Cooper said something about the animal hair could have been from skinned dogs that were found around town.
Oh, but
I didn't
that
know.
was I thought that was only one, and I thought it was way earlier than this.
Yeah, it was like a month or
Yeah,
8 weeks, well, 6
I,
weeks.
I
before,
doubt
something like
I doubt that would be connected. I don't think he
Yvonne,
was doing that.
He lives in southern Idaho, and there's a lot of dropped coverage, but we already talked about that.
So I just looked up his information about his car by his license plate number. It's a 2015 Hyundai Elantra.
Mm-hmm.
I have the VIN number if anyone
Right.
cares. It's a 4-door sedan. And let's see. I'm going to continue here. I want to see if I can find out the trim level, because that will tell me if it has GPS on it. Let's see here. It has anti-lock braking. Let's see. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different trim levels. Limited is the cheapest one. Let me see.
Limited should be the most expensive, shouldn't it be?
Look at the VIN. What's the name of that? VIN change.
Just trying to get this other thing on. Ryan Walsh. Let's see. Details of tumultuous legal history. Fabricating. This is a restaurant.
All right, so these are the standard features on his car, and I'm looking at his car specifically, his VIN number. Anti-lock brake, traction control, daytime running light, airbags, side curtain airbag, tire pressure monitoring, stability control, brake assist, front airbag, and side airbag. Does not say it has a nav system in it. Let's see if they have anything else in the entertainment. Sometimes they list that under the infotainment package. Let's see. All features. Okay, yeah, I got more here.
Trying to see if there's any. I can't find anybody mentioning the Pennsylvania search warrants. Come on, Brian. nobody's mentioning that.
Well, the car is equipped with satellite radio. So would that mean that it would have to have, I mean, and he may not have subscribed to it.
Well, it could, yeah, it could be equipped with it, but, yeah, right. And I don't know. I don't know if he has it or not. And I don't know.
It's pretty, I know it's kind of an expensive item, so he probably didn't. But the fact that it's equipped to allow for Sirius XM, would that
Well,
mean
is
that
it
there?
I don't know. Does it have is it Bluetooth enabled? Does he?
Yeah, it is Bluetooth enabled, yeah, and
Does he
as
hook
well
his
as,
phone up to it?
Yeah, it's iPhone, it's equipped with the iPhone.
But if he was turning his phone off, it's probably not gonna. I don't know. Who knows?
I'm just wondering if the car, like, you know, like I'm trying to figure out if, I don't see it says it has GPS, but in order for it to connect to the satellite, Sirius, I think it would have to have GPS is kind of where I'm getting at it. Unless somebody knows more about Sirius FM and how that works. Oh, and you know what? True. Also, even if you don't subscribe to Sirius XM, they have you could still connect to it. You could still, like, they give you like a channel, like an example channel, like, you know what I mean, like with that way you could listen to it and see if you want to get it. So I know that for sure because we have that in our Toyota.
Hey, guys.
Okay, so Sirius says we collect information about your vehicle, your vehicle's location, and the nature of your request when your vehicle initiates a service command or when you use the services through the in-vehicle button or the FCA mobile app or other means.
Oh, so you have to tune into it for it to pull to do that, to get your location.
Let me see here. So
it's not passively tracking.
not every car with Sirius XM has this tracking capability, nor is this something that all of its radios can do, as it has nothing to do with, hold on a minute, with the, where did I just see this? Hold on. Okay, as it has nothing to do with the company's audio side. Only those with Sirius XM connected vehicle services like InTouch or Uconnect access enabled can do this. These are beefed up connected car services Sirius XM offers that are less like a simple radio service and more like an OnStar suite. To name check one of its rivals here, Sirius XM connected vehicle services like OnStar develops in-car tech for convenience and security that it provides to many automotive manufacturers. Uconnect, for example, is Stellantis infotainment system. So many newer Dodge, Alfa Romeo, Chrysler, Ram, Fiat, and Jeep models are capable of pinpointing your stolen ride's location to police if you have that service enabled too. Yes, depending on your relationship to data privacy, the idea that a company can share your car's location data with police may seem like an extra layer of protection, or it may sound like a bridge too far. That's an even bigger concern in 2022, where a patchwork of wildly different state laws have resulted in people crossing state lines just to access forms of health care that are banned or severely restricted in their home states. Legally speaking, user privacy protection are woefully thin, as nothing currently blocks warrantless vehicle surveillance, and, well, the data's right there on a connected car. But I don't think he has.
Kevin wanted to know if you're bumping up the time on the auction, Carolyn.
Oh, shoot. Okay. Yeah, I didn't even realize that, Kevin. Thank you for telling me that. No, I guess we'll just end here. We could talk about this after the auction. Let this sink in. All right. I'll probably bump it up to 9:30 just to give us a few minutes between this. But let me do that real quick. But I will just end this here and we could talk about it later. So I'll be on again later, guys, about this. Let them
Talk soon, everybody.
do the auction, and I've just got to get to the.
See you later,
Bump this up.
everybody.
See you later.
See you real soon.
Yeah, see you very soon. I'm just gonna bump up the time.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Hold on, I didn't end it yet, so just hang on. Let me go to my thing. We're still on because I have to go bump up the time. But I'll figure it out. I'm sure there'll be a lot that'll come out in the. Let's see. Live. Go over here. I'm gonna bump this up to 9:30 because I have to eat something. Let's see. Edit. Customization. Where's the details? Details. 9:30. Okay. All right. Let me go back and end the live. Okay. Bye, guys. Thank you, Mike, for the super chat. Thank you, guys. I'll see you later. And hopefully see you at the auction and at the live after this. Okay, let me go to this.